What's going on, everybody? Woo! I gotta keep the camera off, y'all. I'm multitasking. How y'all doing? What's going on? I am so excited to do this live for two reasons. One, I don't know if y'all saw my post yesterday on the channel, but I posted up a copy of the Georgetown Inc. and Candace Owens LLC registrations, y'all. There, both in Delaware. They tried to switch it over, like I said yesterday, to Tennessee, where I think where she lives, and that shit didn't work. They were abandoned. What's going on, Francisca? How you doing? Oh, you were here at 5:15. Y'all had to get myself situated. I'm multitasking, so y'all bear with me. But we're gonna have a good time. Let me tell y'all something. I found that information and I said, I know darn well they did not actually try. Francisca, Laura, what's going on? Frankly, I was saying something weird. I said, I know darn well her weird ass did not try to register her LLC for Candace Owens and Georgetown in Tennessee. I know they didn't try to do it, and they did. They tried it, and it didn't work. Candace, you still don't understand. You just don't understand, girl. Yeah. Oh, she just don't understand. Girl, you can't pull that nonsense on Lady Luck Club. You just can't. You weirdo, brainless candy ass supporters, the cult members. Yeah, you just can't pull that on me. You understand? You can't pull that on me. So I'm gonna show you all where I got the information from. Good, Francisca. How you doing? As y'all come in, hit the like button. Hit the like button. We're gonna be checking out her video she did today, or probably still doing. I don't know. But we're gonna be hitting up the newest one. Okay. And a couple of you all told me to look at some a video from what's his name? Steven Crowder, but I couldn't remember the name of the video. And I haven't watched a whole lot of Steven Crowder. I mean, other than the videos I've seen that you all recommended where he roasting Candace ass. I haven't seen a whole lot of them, so I didn't remember which one was recommended for me to check out. But you all send me the specific Steven Crowder video that you want me to check out, I will. And of course, she is grifting on Charlie Kirk's death. We're back to the Israelis again. Oh Lord have mercy. She just, yeah, child. All right. So before we get to her grift of the day, I hope, and I know I keep saying this, I want Erica Kirk to respond with an attorney when she finally tells Candace Owens to shut the hell up. But man, I wish she would hurry up and say it, because this is it's so obsessive. It's so obsessive, you all. But you can tell people are kind of getting tired of it because her views are going down. Her views are going down. And people are starting to see this is like the grift that she just won't let go of. She doesn't really care, and she cycles around all the people she wants to blame. It's like she's going in a pattern. She's stuck in a holding pattern. She just refused to land the plane. Just land the plane, girl. Land the plane, Candace. Gotta land the plane. Whoa, dodgy people doing dodgy things. I know, right? But I'm gonna show you all this with her LLC, because this is what was kind of like the driving force for the lawsuit with the Macrones and why they filed in the state of Delaware. So it wasn't libel tourism. Okay. They know what they're doing. And they understand that she has filed lawsuits in the state of Delaware herself against USA Today, and she lost. I went over that lawsuit as well myself. And here's why. So, if you all see up here, Georgetown Inc. is a Delaware corporation filed on June 8th, 23. Here's the company's file number listed as 7503168. The registered agent on here is this agent service that's also in Delaware. And then, of course, if you scroll down, it gives you more information. And then here's why, because I like to double check to make sure. If I'm hold on, go back. If I'm looking this stuff up, I want to make sure I'm looking up everything. I'm dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. So when I went to, what's the website I pulled up yesterday? Let me go back. I'm going to show you all right now as I go through it. To get to because you can see here, it's in Delaware. So I had gotten a couple comments that were saying, oh, no, it's in Tennessee. No, it's not. This is a Google search. I mean, this is a Google search. There's no reason for anyone to say anything to the contrary when they can Google it. Where's it taking me to? I'm trying to get to the website I was on yesterday. I'm gonna pull up Candace Owens LLC. Hold on, because I want y'all to see everything that I pulled up. Okay, it was her Candace Owens LLC where she tried to get it registered in Tennessee. So you all take a look at this. She tried to put it in Tennessee, like I said she was gonna try to do with court. Hey, Skeeter, how you doing? You and Mark. How's your son? I saw one of your comments. Yeah, shout out to Skeeter, the long-term lucksters here in the LLC. I know you've been going through with your family, your son and stuff. How you doing? We as always praying for you. Hi, Skeeter and Mark. I miss you guys. Aw, you finally caught me. I know it's been something else, and I know you've been busy. Yeah, shout out to Skeeter and Mark. Y'all say hello. Everybody say hello. Come on in the chat. Come out them bushes. Hit the like button. We're just going over some information before we go over her video. I know she's already been live. I don't know how long she's been live, but we'll get to it. But I just wanted to show you all this. So y'all remember I told you all yesterday when we was going over the case docket that if she tries to say that her LLC is registered in Tennessee, she would have tried to do it after the fact. And that's exactly what she tried to do. The funny thing is, it's barely growing. Glory to God. Thank you, Lord. I know. Oh, man. We are praying for your son, honey. It's barely growing. We wanted to stop growing. And then we wanted it to dissipate and go away. So that's what we're praying for. Complete total health for your son. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that because I've been thinking about it. I asked about you the other day too in the live and said, I hope you guys are okay. We're always praying for you here in the Lady Luck Club. We love you, honey. We want you to be safe. And you can always email me. You know that. You can always email me. See, this is how you look out. You gotta look out for people. You can't get to a point as a content creator where you just forget about your supporters and people going through real life issues and hardships, and I go through it. But if I get too big and too mighty where I can't reach out to you all and just make sure y'all okay, then there's something wrong with that. Candace got all them bots over there in her chat, child. She ain't stunned none of them. She want views. So that's why it's laughable to see comments like this from Franklin. Oh, child. Hey, Laura. Shout out to my mods. I appreciate you for tuning in and for being in here. Yeah, shout out to everybody in here. Frankly, if you still in here, Jesus loves you too. I'm praying for strength and health. Yes, absolutely. We all are. And Laura said, "Hey, Skeeter, everybody speak to everybody. I appreciate it." Y'all, we're going over this information right quick before we get to the video. But I wanted you all to see what I was trying to tell you all about the attempt to try to register in Tennessee so that her attorneys can go to court and say, "Oh, well, my client no longer has the LLC that's registered there." So, Your Honor, this is why we're saying that they're fishing around for courts and blah, blah, blah. Well, Lady Luck Club looked it up. All the trademarks related to Candace Owens LLC and Georgetown Inc. It's right here. And I can drop this link in the chat so you all can read for yourself, because the candy asses don't read nothing, but Lucksters, we here in the Lady Luck Club, we read. And you guys can always have this reference to go back to. So she tried to do LLC. She tried to transfer it to Tennessee. But see, here's the thing. You go out and you get sued, right? And that lawsuit, the jurisdiction is based on your LLC, even though she has the Georgetown Inc. that's in Delaware. The Candace Owens LLC, I think it's the one where her channel is registered under. So on her YouTube channel, when whatever comes up as far as her handle and all of that, it comes up as Candace Owens. It's not Georgetown Inc. So when she gets paid through YouTube, all of that information dealing with the taxes, the setup for the payments, all of that is under Candace Owens LLC. So naturally, if the defamation is occurring on the YouTube channels, this 8-part series all being posted up on the YouTube channel, right? That's the main social media platform she's using to basically, make all these false allegations and defamatory allegations against the Macrones. If all of that is registered under Candace Owens LLC, that's the one they're going to be more interested in. And as you all can see, she tried to get the LLC switched over. It was originally registered to Delaware. So here's a drop-down box. And I just want y'all to see this, because I can't make this up. This is all what we're seeing here. It was filed originally in Delaware. Y'all see that here? Domestic state. And then she tried to change it and switch it to Tennessee. But the domestic state was Delaware, because they don't live there. The Georgetown Inc. is still registered in Delaware. And the Candace Owens LLC, the last time I checked, was a kind of like a subsidiary under Georgetown Inc. But she tried to separate it and register it to Tennessee to say, oh, they would have to, they were suing me in the wrong state because that's not where my LLC is registered. Well, here we go. Yeah, if you come down, look what she tried to do. Notice of allowance issued. Look at this. On August 26, 2025. This is after the Macrones filed the initial lawsuit complaint. They filed their lawsuit, I think, on July 13th. So you see the status date for the LLC registration, where they filed notice of allowance issued August 26, 2025. Why would you try to switch it up after the lawsuit? Why would you try to do that? Published for opposition date, July 1, 2025. They knew this was coming down the pipeline, y'all. Okay, let's scroll down, right? So Candace Owens LLC is supposed to be some sort of a, y'all see what primary class, like a classification, clothing, foot gear, headgear. So I think it's like her all her merchandise and all of that on her channel. I think her LLC is kind of registered to be kind of like that, the corporate entity of her merch. The hats and the cups and the mugs and the t-shirts and all that other stuff. This is something else. What's going on? Thank you, Skeeter, for the 10. Continue on back to work for me. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Shout out to you, Skeeter and Mark. Thank you for the super. I appreciate it. And we got your son in our prayers as always, okay? And we love you. We're here for you if you need us to. Candy being messy, yes, she is. If you need us for anything, let us know, Skeeter, okay? Just email us or hop in and let us know. Candy being messy. Oh, she tried. Yeah, she tried. But see, the thing is, she's not that smart. So because she doesn't understand how court works, um, doesn't cover everything from a lawsuit. I know that's this is the thing. Her LLC is what she. Oh, thanks, Laura. Thank you. Shout out to my mod. Thank you for the $5 super. I appreciate that. So this isn't like the way it's registered set up. It's kind of like just the like a regular corporate little business or whatever for her. And when you file that, they're asking like, what class is this? Like, what is it for? What type of business are are you supposedly creating with this LLC? So hers is listed as like clothes, shoes, headgear, something to that extent. But see, the thing is, they tried to do this around the same time that lawsuit was filed, and it didn't work. And that's what's so funny about it, because she thought that was going to stop it. No, that didn't stop anything. So I went back, didn't stop anything at all. So as you all can see here now, this was that notice of allowance that was issued August 26th. And then you have Candace Owens LLC, this serial number here, status abandoned, no statement of use filed, October 6, 2025, just last month. And the same thing for Georgetown Inc. Abandoned, no statement of use filed. So these are their trademarks here. So some of the notable trademarks include 430, registration number 0. You guys see this here. Click on any of the trademark names below to view detailed USPTO filing information, status updates, and registration history for each mark owned by Candace Owens LLC. So it looks like they tried to get it in the state of Tennessee, and it was abandoned. That's what the status shows here. And we've seen the actual status of it being in Delaware. Now, you can have, your LLC cover multiple states. But what she can't do is say, oh, well, since it's down in Tennessee, you can't file the lawsuit in Delaware when it can very well be active in Delaware. And that's the argument based on the motion to dismiss that her attorneys are trying to make. Well, the defendant doesn't live in Delaware. Why would they file the lawsuit there? If anything, why wouldn't they file the lawsuit in Tennessee where she lives? And it's because her LLC is registered in that state. And at the time the lawsuit was filed, it was the registration information only reflected the entity state of Delaware, not Tennessee. And you all see the dates here where she tried to do something recently. This is August 26, 2025, a month after the lawsuit filed. And then you have this abandoned, no statement of use filed, October 6th, for both Georgetown Inc. and Candace Owens LLC. So I'm sitting here like, why would you do this now to try to get this switched to a different state? Why would you do that now? Because I told you all yesterday when we was going over the court docket activity, I said, if they try to pull that stunt, don't think for 1 second the Macron's attorney is not going to say, Your Honor, they're sitting here trying to mislead the court and misrepresent the registration of these this LLC here, just so that the court can believe or be impressed to believe that the LLC is registered in Tennessee. And the fact that I'm seeing information that shows just that, you don't get a status saying abandoned, no statement of use filed. That means that they failed to file something to finish out this LLC registration. No statement of use filed, abandoned. For both Candace Owens LLC and Georgetown in Tennessee. They tried to do it in Tennessee. And we're trying to switch it over. Yeah, look, it's right here. Here's the information here. They tried to switch it over to a Tennessee foreign LLC. They couldn't do it. This stuff was due by April 1, 2026. Mighty funny. Notice of allowance issued August 26th. Then no statement of use filed October 6th. Abandoned. Status on both are abandoned. Now, is it valid in Delaware? Yeah. But that's the thing. You can't make these types of moves. You see this filing state, Tennessee. They tried to switch it to Tennessee. The domestic state, Delaware, that's where it was originally filed. You can't make these types of moves and you're in litigation. It's not how that works, because she's already told on herself when she filed the lawsuit against USA Today 2-3 years ago and lost that case. She reported that her Candace Owens LLC was registered in the state of Delaware. Candace reported that on court documents. And until now, she's never tried to switch it. So you wait until you get a lawsuit? Oh, we're going to watch it. Yeah. And it's abandoned. You wait till you get a lawsuit where your attorney is trying to say, hey, well, she's not, the LLC is not registered there. That's exactly what they put in the court document. So essentially, unless they've, edited and changed that up, they lied to the court. Because the original motion to dismiss stated that there is no LLC registered in the state of Delaware. And then they tried to say, well, the work that she does is in her home and is not done primarily in the state of Delaware. It's in Tennessee. And as you all can see, they're sitting here trying to switch this stuff up to match Tennessee. Now, judge would have been mad for them trying to pull this maneuver. You're misleading the court. Don't do that. Don't piss the judge off knowing that this is a civil proceeding and the Macron's burden is a preponderance of the evidence. Don't piss the judge off. And they're going to have a jury. Oh, yeah. It's a horrible way to start off, Candace. Well, you and your attorneys are still dumb. All right, y'all. We're getting ready to get to it here. She is still live. I think. Oh, no, she's done. Okay, great. So let's get to her video. We're going to get to it. I kind of wanted to wait till she was done, because the last time I tried to start when she's live and be live when she was live, I still wanted to pause and give commentary in between. And it was hard to do with the pausing and stuff. I enjoyed being able to go in her chat, but they kept putting me on the slow mode. Candace, you heifer. All right, y'all ready? Y'all put a 1 in the chat if you can see it here. Let's get to it. See what she's got to talk about right now.
Let's jump right back into it, back into the investigation, because I have some incredibly interesting updates for you. Actually, some explosive revelations regarding the Charlie Kirk case. Now, buckle up, because there's this country that's only the size of New Jersey. It's always a victim. It turns out that they had some people on the ground that day. And I just want to be clear here, no matter what I say throughout this episode, please remember that they are always the victim, historically have always been the victim, and they have done nothing wrong. Didn't do nothing wrong on 9/10 either. In other news, the McCoys, let's jump back into their story, because I've learned some crazy, interesting data points to add to our timeline. You know I love me a timeline. So let's jump back in. Welcome back to Candace.
No, that pastor's gonna school her. And I hope he does. You need to go ahead and do it. It's crazy. You keep talking about the man of God like that.
Do you know that moment when your subconscious kind of meets your conscious? Like you just suddenly, your subconscious is storing all this information and it's maybe flagging something for you that's a little weird, but you haven't come to realize it yet. And then all of a sudden, the information breaks the surface and you're like, aha, I got it. I didn't even realize that thing that happened a long time ago was a little bit weird. And suddenly you're behaving like Dory, the bluefish from the movie Finding Nemo, when she remembers the P. Sherman address from Australia. You guys know that moment. Take a watch.
Zelle, China.
That's Disney.
P. Sherman 42 Wallaby City.
Girl, if you're about to base this entire episode on Dory from Finding Nemo, and you defile this character in any way, Candace, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to scorch the earth. How dare you take a loving character from a Disney film that we all adore and try to compare it to the death of Charlie Kirk and your disdain for Israel. How dare you do this?
Crime solved. Okay, that is how it works.
Man.
Never ignore your subconscious. That's why I say I pay attention to my dreams. I don't care who has to laugh at me about it. And there was this little something that flagged in the back of my mind as odd in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination. One of these things that might seem small, but it's always the small details that help to paint the broader and bigger picture, right? Elle Woods in the movie Legally Blonde, she was absolutely correct when she said that people who work out have endorphins and happy people don't kill their husbands. Anyway, the thing that I realized is that Mikey McCoy, the chief of staff of Turning Point USA, Mikey McCoy, for whatever reason, he always requires an adjective. Whenever they discuss Mikey McCoy, there's an adjective before they say his name. A bunch of people in the Turning Point USA orbit described Mikey McCoy in this very unique manner.
When the last time, will Turning Point USA please stop talking to Candace Owens? When the last time she talked to these people? It's like she's calling up there every day, getting on their nerves. And now they're just telling her whatever. Can y'all stop feeding the monkey in the zoo, please? And you can take it how you want, Candace. I don't really care. When you're sitting here cursing the land and you're attacking a pastor and accusing the U.S. military of doing heinous crimes, I don't care how you take that concept of feeding a monkey in the zoo. Just stop doing it, people. Because this is not help. Turning Point USA needs to block her phone number. All of them. They need to block her emails, block her tip line, block her phone numbers, her staff phone numbers. They need to block them. Block them. You have no reason to talk to her. She has no respect for the rule of law or for the investigation. She literally wants evidence that is not to be released during an open federal investigation to be released right now. And for what? To give the defense a leg up? That's the dumbest thing ever. That's not how the FBI operate. And she's not licensed to be an investigator, by the way. As a matter of fact, Candace Owens lied about having 2 degrees. Candace, you don't have a college degree. And if you did, you would brag about it nonstop. So until she shows proof that she has 2 college degrees or 2 degrees, as she put it, she has 2 degrees now. She shows proof of where she got them, when she graduated, what was her major. I want to see her grades. Any evidence to show that? I am going to say whatever I want to say about this nonsense that she's talking about when she can't prove basic information about her background. The audacity.
I want you to take a listen to that.
But let me tell you who the heroes were in this whole thing. We're going to start with 23-year-old Mikey McCoy. And that's when the great Mikey McCoy showed up.
And my husband's chief of staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy.
My friend Mikey McCoy, the brilliant 24-year-old who at the time when Charlie was shot was 23 and was a hero that day.
I used to be known as Charlie Kirk's pastor, now I'm known as Mikey McCoy's dad.
He clicked into gear eventually.
He did.
It was amazing. Mikey was a heroic figure on that day.
Did he? All good.
Amazing, heroic. He was brilliant. It stood out to me really because...
Shout out to you, Yankee City. Make sure you put this on 1.5 on the replay so it'll be funnier. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all hit that like button. 25 people watching. Hit that like button. Let's go.
It's only Mikey that they moved to do it for. And objectively speaking, okay, I don't care what your experience in life is, I would not move to insist that someone was quote unquote
Exactly.
heroic for walking away from their friend after he was shot. Okay, that wouldn't be the adjective that came to my mind, heroic. I also don't feel the need ever to qualify any of my friends with an adjective. Think about how strange it would be if on the show, every time I covered Tucker Carlson, I was like, the spectacular Tucker Carlson, the breathtaking Tucker Carlson is under attack in this moment. You'd be like, why are you doing that? Why do I feel like you're trying to program me? This only made me more interested in Mikey and the McCoy story. And I want to be super clear here. No innuendo. I know that Mikey McCoy did not kill Charlie Kirk. We watch him in those moments, but it's also becoming pretty apparent to me that the stage was being set for Mikey to become the new Charlie. In fact, on stage at the memorial event for
Who says who, Candace? What evidence do you have? Once again, you're not qualified to do a lot of things because you said you had 2 degrees and you have not proven that you finished college. What 2 degrees do you have? What are the majors? What was your GPA? The names of the schools? What year did you graduate? Basic information when you have some degrees. You should be able to answer those questions. We're all waiting, including God the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen.
Charlie and elsewhere. They were trying to prime the public for that plausibility, almost like it was this psychological operation, nod to Rob McCoy and his family lineage, to see Mikey as capable of filling Charlie's shoes. Take a listen.
Let me tell you something about Mikey. Mikey's been with Charlie for several years. He's 23 years old. He is wise beyond his years. And when that tragedy struck, Mikey was an absolute hero who kept everybody calm and did some of the most mundane things you would think you would need to do on the worst day of his life. And he continues to be a rock. He's been following Jesus for a long time. I'm hoping that Mikey one day will follow in Charlie's footsteps right to the college campus because he has the ability, the demeanor, the grace, the knowledge to do so.
Set an example for the believers in speech and conduct and love.
Let's say that he was preparing him to maybe take over at some point. Wouldn't Charlie Kirk have a hand in that because he was the CEO? So what? You're doing a whole lot of stuff. Y'all, Candace Owens saying a whole lot of things she would never say if he were alive today. None of this she would ever say if he were still alive. So what? If they were trying to get him educated and, trained to be able to be in a position where he could take over, be, maybe the vice president, so to speak. Who cares? Charlie Kirk would have agreed to this. You don't think that he would sit back and allow everyone else to groom this young man, Mikey McCoy, and then not say something about it when he was outspoken on everything else? Candace, you're not even making sense. These things that you're saying, your argument, your whole point you're trying to make is not even logical now. Because you're undercutting, the awareness that Charlie Kirk had. You don't think he would have been aware that someone's trying to groom somebody else to become the CEO of his company? Obviously, he was okay with that. Maybe he wanted Mikey McCoy to be able to take over one day. Maybe at some point, Charlie Kirk felt, I'm going to have to retire and be a dad and get used to sitting on the patio with my wife in a rocking chair, drinking lemonade and having tea and cakes, having supper, not dinner. Grow old, watch the dogs run around. At some point, I got to retire. Who would take over? I would want it to be someone that's fully equipped to do that. She's saying something that happens all the time, where someone is trained and equipped and educated and put into a position where they could take over a company. That's not abnormal. That is very normal. And maybe he wanted that. Maybe Charlie Kirk wanted that. And because she didn't talk to Charlie Kirk for the very last good year before he passed, she wouldn't know. And would she be entitled to know? No, she's not entitled to know. Because she's a nothing at Turning Point USA. Candace, you're not going to be the CEO. And that's what's most important. You're not being the CEO ever. Do you understand, Candace? You will never be the CEO of Turning Point USA. Never. Just want to embed that in your mind.
Faith and in purity. Our speaker today, Mikey McCoy, has done that. His path was pretty much like Charlie Kirk's path.
Pretty much like Charlie Kirk's path. And he's got the grace and the wits and it's amazing. Okay. And if you're wondering why we also included Erica saying the amazing Mikey McCoy in her first speech, it's because Rob McCoy oddly refers back to Erica's speech when he is asked specifically what he believes Mikey's future is going to be at Turning Point USA. Okay. He's going to answer a question. The show is the Faith Forward show. And he starts to answer the question, but then he sort of cuts himself off and he trails into a different topic, almost as if he catches himself. Take a listen.
And then Mikey specifically, like how he's going to kind of fit into that picture. Because when I'm seeing him speak, man, I'm like, dude, this Mikey is going to have a humongous role within this organization.
So Charlie was an avid journaler, very avid. And when Erica started opening up his journals after he was killed, she started reading. Charlie had a plan all the way through 2028. Wow. Written out. I mean, there's an order of succession, and when she comes out and she says the amazing Mikey McCoy. Yeah. And this is one of the things I would share with Mikey. I share with Charlie, and I learned it from Steve Smotherman. And Pastor Steve Smotherman said it to Charlie. Where you're a public figure, you have very little privacy.
That was weird, right?
No.
That's a weird way to try to answer that question. What's he doing there? Is he trying to make us believe?
No. Charlie Kirk may have been very well preparing and grooming for someone to take over by 2028. Who knows? Or maybe be a co-founder, a co-partner, whatever. Candace, it was his company. He gets to do what he wants. And I want to speak to your comment here. You put up truth. If you feel like there's infiltrators and what you're and what you stand for, right? You can't give up. You just have to boot those people out, because at some point, either you guys are going to be successful in booting them out, or they're going to wear themselves out. And then people are going to start seeing them for who they really are. Just like with Candace Owens. People are starting to see who she truly is. She's nothing but she's just a con artist and a liar. When she's willing to lie about having 2 degrees that she refuses to show evidence for, that right there tells me everything I need to know. All of these false accusations, the defamations, the many, litigation matters she's lost in the past. The only one that she won, not even say won, was because it was a slap suit. And the other one was from her being in high school, and that was just a settlement. But look at her being the mean girl bully here. Look how she's doxed people. She's committing cyber crimes. She posted up Charlie Kirk's medical file without consent from Erica Kirk. She has overstepped her boundaries far too many times to say. People are tolerant of her behavior for reasons unknown. Maybe it's because of the rebelliousness of it all. I don't know. But it's still illegal. And it can still be pursued in a court of law. When you see stuff like this, you got to boot them out. And you got to do it in a way to where it's, to me, doing this is not that hard, because all I'm doing is just pointing out the facts that she, of how she's lying. But when it comes to her being a part of this conservative movement, clearly she's not a conservative individual. And the principles that she stands for goes completely against what the majority of the conservative movement stands for. I'm not political, but I'm speaking in general terms. And people like her, they always end up telling on themselves. The best way to go about it is to, whenever they tell on themselves, then you turn around and use it against them and flip it in your favor. Because like I said, I know she wouldn't be saying half of this stuff if Charlie Kirk was still alive. This is crazy. Yeah, we don't send it. Yeah, it's, you guys listen. That's the stuff. What's going on, Borrowed? How you doing, man? Candace Owens is the type of person where no one wants her. Trust me when I tell you. Shoot, no one wants her. I don't think the liberals want her. I don't, conservatives don't want, no one wants Candace. Okay. She's going to be alone on an island by herself, just like any other wannabe cult leader that's a narcissist. No one wants that because they don't stand for anything. They're all about opportunists and getting what they want out of the situation. They have no values. So they'll be rejected by all. But because she feeds off of everyone else, people are going to have to detach themselves from her. And that's the best way to resolve it because it's crazy. No one wants Candace. No one. Kudos to you, girl. Listen to her interview with Andrew Tate from last year. Oh, man. Oh, God. And isn't he supposed to be in prison somewhere? Oh, man. Lord have mercy. So, all right, y'all, let's get back to it. I can't bear the voice of Andrew Tate. Oh, God. Y'all talking about irritating. That humanoid irritates me. And I can't understand why she sees people like Andrew Tate and Kanye West. Like, those are the dudes that she gravitates towards. But she dogs out Charlie Kirk and his whole legacy. It makes no sense.
Not explicitly state, but kind of explicitly state, or maybe implicitly state that Charlie's future, or rather Mikey McCoy's future, was written by Charlie in one of these journals. That's what I was picking up. That's what I feel like he was throwing down. Let me know if I'm crazy, but that was a weird way to answer. And he's like, so when Erica comes out and she's the amazing Mikey McCoy, he talks about the journals. What's going on here? Now, I'm going to give you some data points to back this up. Now, I maintain that the wonderful Mikey McCoy doesn't strike me as intrinsically evil. Something Charlie used to always say to me is the eyes are the window to the soul. Don't see this intrinsic evil when I look at Mikey McCoy's eyes. But, however, I do think he was hyped, okay? I think Mikey was promised or told or encouraged that he would become the new Charlie, and it is a fact that was the number one sentiment that we received from our Turning Point USA insiders following Charlie's assassination, that the, supercalifragilistic Mikey McCoy appeared to have like an extra spring in.
Erica Kirk, if you don't get your people under check, you better. The last person they should be sitting here trying to have a sideline conversation with is Candace Owens. She already said that you being the CEO means you're supposed to take all this heat that she's throwing from her channel. All this nonsense, all this buffoonery she's putting out there. Yesterday, Erica Kirk, Candace Owens said that because you're the CEO, you're supposed to take all this heat. It comes with it. But what Candace is doing is unnecessary. This isn't heat from Candace Owens. It's just pure stupidity on steroids with a cape and a hat and a cane like a pimp. It's the pimp daddy steroids walking around on earth. And it's right here in Candace Owens. Pimp daddy stupidity on steroids. When I look into your eyes, Candace, I see nothing. It's a dark void. You have no soul. You don't care about anything or anyone. You don't want to flat out attack Erica Kirk because you know that everyone will be coming for your neck, girl. But you know you do. See, that's the thing. That's what I see behind those eyes. It's this darkness. It's an evil, like sinister type of thing behind here. She doesn't want to go after Erica Kirk directly to where it would hurt her. Her, meaning her opportunity, her money, her views. But deep down, she really does. That's why people at Turning Point need to stop communicating with her. Stop giving her information. You're just fueling her nonsense that she still has no data to prove right now. Candace, you just said you're going to give me some data. Where's the documentation? You running your mouth is not proof. That's just you running your mouth. Where's the documentation?
His staff that made them all a little bit uncomfortable in the aftermath, and that he seemed all too happy to assume Charlie's position. Look, he's already speaking at Liberty University. Why? Because he made some phone calls? That's have we lowered the standards for what makes somebody a hero in 2025? I don't know. And I will say that beyond the sentiment that was expressed to us from these Turning Point USA insiders, there are some interesting facts. Fact number one, for whatever reason, in the month, and I'm going to make sure that I address my timeline here. In the month leading up to Charlie's death, Mikey McCoy was interested in capturing some behind the scenes footage, more intimate moments of Charlie's life. And I'm going to give you 2 examples of that, okay? Example number 1, Charlie's very last overseas trip to Korea. Okay, this was 4 days before he died. For whatever reason, Mikey McCoy felt suddenly inspired to try his luck, miking up Charlie and capturing him on the road. And he says this is the first time he ever did it. Take a listen to Mikey McCoy explain that.
Today is really fun because Mikey and Blake are going to talk about their last trip with Charlie to Asia.
Yep.
And Mikey, you are now in the driver's seat. The floor is yours.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that was just 3-4 days before Utah.
Crazy.
And it was Charlie's dream to always go to Asia. And Blake and I got the gift of being able to tag along for that. And so I brought the camera with me. I've never traveled with a camera before, but I decided, it'd be a good idea to mic Charlie up, do some content with him while we're there.
Okay. That is remarkable.
That proves nothing. Do you know how old is this kid? This kid is what? 25, 23? How old is he? 24? He's being a 24-year-old kid, Candace. You can't make this shit. You can't make this shit up. Excuse my language. What was that supposed to prove? He's 24 years old. He's doing some video footage. Girl, you can't make this up. Candace, you're pathetic. That proved nothing. That proved nothing. You got this bright-eyed kid. Look how bright-eyed he looked. I mean, just listen that, man, look how happy he looked. Look at him. A 24-year-old kid. He could be out there doing some crap shit on the streets. He could be out here breaking laws and getting arrested, getting drunk, doing drugs, having multiple kids. He's out here on the road traveling with Charlie Kirk. He's actually trying to do something positive. I don't care that he wants to do a video or some content with Charlie Kirk. That means nothing. If Charlie Kirk was putting him in a position to have him elevated to perhaps become the CEO of Turning Point USA, that would be Charlie Kirk's decision. And it would have nothing to do with Candace Owens. Not even a little bit. Candace Owens, you weren't even a factor in Charlie Kirk's universe. Do you understand? I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that in the world of Charlie Kirk, you were a non-factor. You did not exist. He called people like you brain rot. Brain rot, girl. Do you understand me, Heffa? He considered people like you to be brain rot. And you're sitting here antagonizing this kid, 24-year-old kid. Hasn't gotten married, hasn't had a family yet or anything, and you're trying to tear him down for doing a video? So what if Charlie Kirk wanted him to be the next CEO? It's still not you, Candace Owens. And we bless God for it.
The tag along for that. And so I brought the camera with me. I've never traveled with a camera before, but I decided, it'd be a good idea to mic Charlie up, do some content with him while we're there.
Okay.
Kid.
That is remarkable, obviously. For the first time, he decided to mic. It's not something that somebody does as a chief of staff. It's not something that somebody does in that role. Okay, I've traveled with Charlie everywhere. Very strange. The person that mics is always the AV person. And I would assume there were some AV people that were on hand given the trip. But anyways, that's not it. Okay, that's not just one point that we have. And don't worry, because I'm going to show you after I plotted all this into our timeline, just a few weeks before Charlie died, Mikey McCoy and his wife Eliza, for the very first time, now this is according to Eliza McCoy, she shared that it was the first time ever that they went on vacation. Her and Mikey went on vacation with Erica and Charlie. Here's that post on Instagram. That second paragraph begins, we spent a few weeks together this summer, our first family trip together. Okay. Getting real close there. And while they were on this very first time together for a couple of weeks vacation, something moved the McCoys to capture intimate and sweet moments of the Kirk family from behind the scenes. Now, you know which footage I'm talking about. It's the footage that has since gone viral of Charlie walking with his children and Erica. Erica grabs his hand. It's actually a very sweet moment, and it moved a lot of us. People were, I know I was crying when I first saw this footage a couple of days.
Yeah, she was crying because she's not the woman that he's walking beside with the 2 kids, because she really wants to be his wife. You sure do try to make decisions like you are, Candace. you're not proving any conspiracy of any sort whatsoever. If he held up a camera on the bus in front of Charlie Kirk, and if Charlie Kirk did not want him to film, he would have said, "Hey man, cut that off. Don't film that. Don't do that." He would have corrected him. He didn't show any issue with what this young man did. What Mike McCoy. He didn't show any issues with anything that Mike McCoy did. Why are you sitting here speaking on his behalf like he had a problem with it? Charlie Kirk didn't have a problem with this. He would have told him. He would have said, you can't have me recording on your channel or anything like that, man. If you want, I'll do a video sit down with you for your channel, but we just can't do it random. He would have corrected him, but he didn't have a problem with that. He didn't get mad about it. He didn't even frown up at it. I'm sure Mikey McCoy probably asked Charlie before he even turned the camera on, "Hey, is this okay? Do you mind if I do a video or something like that, or get a photo, for my channel, blah, blah, blah." Yeah, man, go ahead and do it. I don't think that kid would have even done that had he not gotten permission at first to do that from Charlie Kirk. And she's making it seem like it's a bad thing here. She's trying to speak for Charlie Kirk, and she can't. Candace, you can't speak for him. You don't have that authority or position to speak for him. And you're certainly not him. And you're talking about he's not supposed to do something. But if Charlie Kirk said he could, he's the CEO. He was a CEO. Obviously, Charlie Kirk permitted that to happen. So Charlie Kirk didn't have a problem with it. Why are you trying to say that he couldn't do it? You hadn't been in the whole company, what? She hadn't been employed with Turning Point for almost, 10 years? Since 2014 or something like that? 2018, whatever. So you can't say what he could and could not do. Don't you think Charlie probably changed up a lot of stuff as the CEO? This girl is ridiculous.
After Charlie died, well, let me tell you guys something. Fortunately, the McCoys were the ones that captured that footage. See, my thing is I need to know what moved them to do that. Are they really just that extraordinary? Is it the extraordinarily lucky Mikey McCoy? Because I was thinking about it because I have a big family and people with families know. And you can go through Charlie's Instagram as I have done. There's always one person missing.
Wait a minute. Why are you going through his Instagram like that? You don't stalk her much? Candace, you're stalking this man. I think Candace is stalking this man. Candace has finally gotten to the point where I am under the belief and impression that she is stalking this man after death, posthumously. This obsession is real. This is very disturbing. You need to know what enthused them to do that. What if they had permission? What do you mean? Gary, kick rocks?
From intimate family moments when they're on the fly. They're not planned, right? There tends to be one family member missing because one person grabs the camera and you're capturing the kids with dad or you're capturing the kids with mom or it's just the kids, whatever it is. That's how family footage, when it's organic, tends to look, right? And of course, on holidays, you get together, you stand up, you capture a picture. That is the pattern. If you go through Charlie's Instagram, Charlie's missing or Erica's missing, and that's because they're filming each other. But thankfully, the McCoys were on hand in what looks like mid-July or early August, into early August. According to my sources, we will nail down the specific dates in the future. We are working on it, okay? Strikes me as odd that Mikey is just picking up the camera and capturing these moments. I don't know. For the first time ever, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And if I'm in Erica's position, I'm starting to look at him funny, like, what's going on here, okay? Now let's bring in Daddy McCoy. Wouldn't say he strikes me as something else entirely. And
no one cares if Candace Owens likes it, okay? If he was out there filming and they knew he was, obviously they permitted him to do it. No one cares if you like it or not, Candace. Let's be honest. You had not communicated with Charlie or Erica a whole year before he passed away. So, yeah, thank God you're not Erica Kirk. Thank God you don't make these decisions. Thank God you're not the CEO of Turning Point. Thank God you're not in a position to make, decisions on someone making photography or creating videos. You have no say so in that. And that is what kills you, girl. That's what kills you. It's the fact you have no power. Candace Owens has no power at all regarding Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, Erica Kirk, this investigation. She has no power. None. And it kills her. Look at it. This whole demon coming through. Watch this.
And he similarly had some rather impeccable timing. Rob McCoy, as you very well know, was the senior pastor of the Godspeak Calvary Chapel in Thousand Oaks, California. You should also know, by the way, let me introduce this to you right now because I didn't know that he was funded, his church was funded by the Wilkes brothers down in Texas. The Wilkes brothers are the ones that fund Daily Wire, were, the initial seed money behind the Daily Wire, the initial seed, not the initial seed money behind PragerU, but they majorly fund Prager University as well. So that's an interesting web that's being woven before our eyes, right? You got PragerU, now you've got this church, and they are a part of what is described online as a cult. It's like Christians for Jews. You look into it yourself. I honestly can't explain it, but that's just something that you should know in the background. Anyway, for whatever reason, after 17 years as the head pastor of that church, Rob McCoy, it was publicly announced in January of this year that he would be stepping down as the head pastor and instead assuming the role of pastor emeritus. Now, for the uninitiated, emeritus is basically just an honorific title, right? Bestowed upon someone after they retire from some distinguished position. For Rob McCoy, they had planned that transition. That transition took effect in mid-July of this year. Okay, mid-July of this year is when he officially steps down from the church. A lot going on here in McCoy land. Now, in case you're thinking, well, that doesn't mean that he was doing all of that and transitioning because he was anticipating some bigger role at Turning Point USA and maybe therefore planning to wind down his life in California. No, actually, that's exactly the reason that was cited when it was reported on in January. In the Ventura County Star, they wrote, quote, he's approaching a transition in July. He'll step down as the senior pastor of Godspeak and hand the reins to his son-in-law, Micah Stevens, the church's administrative and worship pastor. McCoy will become the emeritus pastor and will still preach regularly at the church in a role that could last into the mid-70s. And then it goes on to say when McCoy's responsibilities grew at Turning Point USA, he and his wife sold their home in Thousand Oaks and bought a home in the Phoenix area. Now he said that he bought a different place in Thousand Oaks. He also owns a home in Coronado near San Diego. Now, what we can confirm to you is that Rob actually put that secondary home in Coronado up for sale on August 24th, 2025 of this year. He listed his home up for sale. So suffice it to say that the fantastic, heroic, sensational McCoys were pretty busy this summer.
What does that have to do? Anything with the investigation of Charlie Kirk assassination, to which they have a suspect in custody for? What does any of this have to do with that? You're putting these people's business out there about what's for sale and all this stuff. Why, Candace? You have no power, Candace. That's why you are not in the know, because you have no power. Candace, I want you to listen to me. Hear me good. Erica Kirk could care less about what you think or how you feel, what you demand, why you need to know something. She could care less. Do you know why she's not responding to you? Because she doesn't see you as someone significant at this point. She's letting you lose your mind all over social media. She wants you to snap off like this. This is evidence. And you're falling right into that, Candace. Now, I know you might not really take me serious. You try to soundbite my, facts don't care about your feelings and all that, because you know you ain't said that yourself. But Erica Kirk, she's not responding to you. Not the way you think. Why should she tell you to shut up when a lawsuit can tell you that? You done already put her husband's medical information out there. Do you really think she wants to have a conversation with you? You really think that she believes or feels that you're on her side? No. We all know you're not. Candace Owens is like the crazy woman in the background. In the dark, standing with no lights on in the room, that's just waiting to pop out. Just in that right time to step in after having removed everyone out the equation, if you get my drift. Everyone's removed out the equation, and she the one that's standing in the doorway in the dark with her eyes glowing red. Girl, keep showing us how big that demon is in your heart, in your mind. This is so all I'm getting right now is just evil, demonic vibes. That's what I'm getting right now.
And I don't like it at all. I just don't like it. The vibes for me are not good.
No one care.
Now we can take a look at our timeline here with these new moves added into it. We're going to start looking at July 11th because that's when I think things reached some sort of a pinnacle. That's the infamous speech that Tucker Carlson gave where he calls out Bill Ackman. He starts talking about Israel, all this stuff, and things start moving, okay? Now you can see that's July 11th, and he says that people who serve in foreign armies should be stripped of their citizenship.
That's not evidence, Candace. That is not evidence. You typing this up is not evidence. This could be a part of your script. I don't care. What are documentation and evidence for the data you said you had? Do you have some data to show us here? Where's the evidence of your 2 degrees at? That's what I want to see. I want to see evidence that you graduated with 2 degrees from 1 or 2 schools and what you majored in. Hell, I want to see your GPA. I want to see evidence of that because you lied and said that you had 2 degrees. And as narcissistic as you are, as demanding as you are, and as much of an opportunist as you are, there is nowhere in the world you have 2 degrees and no one knows that you have 2 degrees, what they are, where you went to school, your major, none of that. The entire internet can't find information on your 2 degrees. Where's the documentation and evidence on your 2 degrees? This is not telling me anything. This is something you typed up, girl.
Muses about where Bill Ackman's wealth comes from. July 18th is our next date on our timeline. And this is a great find from Sam Parker. That is when Turning Point USA receives a request from UVU for Charlie to hold an event at Utah Valley. Not only do they instantly accept this request, but they also make it his first stop, which is incredible. We can listen to a news anchor, I think this is from Fox News Salt Lake City, describe exactly when that request went out, as we're telling you on July 18th. Take a listen.
Utah Valley University has provided the document that created the rally at which conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot to death, but it is not providing the security plan for that day. I'm Fox 13 investigative reporter Nate Carlisle. We've been asking UVU for records related to the September 10th Kirk rally. After about 6 weeks, this is the first record provided. It's the application submitted mid-July by the UVU chapter of Kirk's Turning Point USA. The applicants answer standard questions about time, place, and a description of the event. However, we noticed there is one question not asked on the form, whether organizers need any police protection. That's a standard inquiry at, for example, University of Utah events. Speaking of police, UVU has denied Fox 13 News' request for a copy of the Kirk Rally Security Plan. The university is citing the provision in state records laws keeping confidential, quote, security measures, end quote. The campus also has expressed concern that the records could interfere in any investigation and someone's right to a fair trial. Tyler Robinson is charged with Kirk's murder. Fox 13 plans an appeal of the denial, and we are still pursuing a variety of records related to the Kirk shooting.
Well, Fox 13 News, if I can be of any assistance, you just reach out to me because I've...
No, you can't. Because you're going to get the same answer. If it's a part of a federal investigation, Candace Owens, you're not that important, girl. You have no power. Now, you can go cyber bully them all day. They're a member of the press just like you are. And the FBI is not bothered by you. So no, if it's a part of a federal investigation, you let that evidence be introduced into the case. And then after that, when the judge gives the approval that certain documents can be released to the public, typically through an order, because you don't understand how court works, then you can get a copy of it. Then it can be released to the public. And then everyone will have that information. If it's to be used in a federal investigation, go out there and catch an obstruction charge if you want to and interfere with this investigation. Go ahead. Candace, I dare you to interfere with this federal investigation. Please do it so they can charge your ass with obstruction. Let that happen. I keep trying to tell you, you have no power. But get charged with an obstruction charge. Catch an obstruction charge. I would love for Candace Owens to catch an obstruction charge because she thinks that she's more important than she really is. Please let that happen.
Done a lot of these events, and everything happening here is unusual. Okay. For them to honor a request. I mean, they get every university across all 50 states trying to get Charlie and I to speak. Okay. A request going in that late, being honored and becoming stop number one within a couple of weeks. I'm going to say that's never happened. I'm going to dig through my inbox. Okay. I'm going to dig through my inbox. I'm going to see what the normal security protocols are, because as everybody has noticed, there was no ambulance on standby. And that's against Utah law. And so it's interesting that they don't want to release the security plan, because I'm pretty sure this was an extraordinary first time thing where they didn't have a security plan. And I had received a tip, and I do want to check this out, by the way, that they also had initially slated for this event to be inside, but it was moved. Again, I have to look into that. I'm not confirming that, but if that's true as well, things are about to get very interesting. And guess what, guys? There's more.
Else.
And this part is,
what's the Utah law, Candace, about there having to be ambulance outside? Does anyone have the state statute on that? If you do, I'm asking, please post it up. When she says stuff like that, I can't let it ride. I have to have it verified, because when you say that something is state law, you would think that you have it in your script, Candace Owens, to cite the law. Would it have killed your staff or whoever writes your script to add in the Utah state statute into the script, so that when you say this state law, and here's the statute number for Lady Luck Club, because she's going to ask. If you can find the law, just drop it in the chat for me, because she's saying it's state law that the paramedics have to be out there. So I want to verify that, because you just throwing things out there saying it's the law. It's not. Oh my God, Candace, you're bad at this journalism, girl. You are so bad at this.
It's crazy. I guess it's not really crazy. I think I saw like Milo Yiannopoulos tweeted. I think Israel did it. And that's because he was tweeting about the bizarre lie of them saying Erica Kirk was accepting this award, and they completely fictionalized it. They've just been lying nonstop, quickly, right? Right out the gate, Bibi Netanyahu doing propaganda rounds, denying that he had anything to do with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Perfectly normal thing to do, right? Perfectly normal. For some reason, I didn't feel compelled to do that. I didn't feel like I had to get on camera and make a statement that I didn't kill Charlie Kirk. But Bibi Netanyahu felt that he needed to do that. And all of his sycophants in America echoed that statement, and nobody had accused them. A thief runneth when no one pursueth, right? Well, here's some explosive news for you that I can now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, confirm. Putting my name on this. Not only can I confirm this, but I can publicly challenge the very Zionist, occupied Trump administration, who is aware of this, to deny it, to come out and say, no, that's not true. Okay? And if Kash Patel is done crying about the mean tweets on the internet regarding
the Trump administration, I can tell you right now, I don't care about left and right politics and stuff like that, but if y'all start sitting here responding to Candace Owens, this nonsense will never end. Like Erica Kirk, please ignore her. Just ignore. She's fuming out this gas from hell right now. She's got the farts. It's the yeast infection thing, okay, Trump? Candace Owens is really irritated with it's the yeast infection. It must be that time of the year. Okay. You can check out my video where I go over the lawsuit where she herself put it in court docs that she had recurrent yeast infections because she chose to live with black mold. So that must be what's happening with her right now. She's got the itchy scratchies. Okay. She doesn't feel oh so fresh. You can't make this stuff up.
His sensational singing girlfriend, he can also certainly make the time of day to deny what I am saying if it is untrue, right? Because this is pretty relevant. Now, I should say that some people had actually reported this earlier. Like Mel, I've been telling you to follow her, Village Crazy Lady over on X. She was actually very early with this reporting, and I had heard rumors and rumblings, but I wanted to make sure that I had verifiable proof, enough proof that I would go out on a limb, as I'm doing right now, and asserting that it is authentic and it is real. Ladies and gentlemen, there were, for whatever reason, 12 Israeli cell phones on the ground at rumblings, but I wanted to make sure that I had verifiable proof, enough proof that I would go out on a limb, as I'm doing right now, and asserting that it is authentic and it is real. Ladies and gentlemen, there were...
Candace, you said you had 2 degrees, and you have not proven that. Oh, and to answer your question, guess, no, she has not produced any evidence. There's nothing online at all to show proof that she has 2 degrees at all. All it states is that she went to college for journalism, and in her 3rd year, she dropped out. Charlie had paid for security. Exactly. He had his own security detail. Finance is her favorite word now. Exactly. Notice her repeated targets. Yeah, exactly. Because, her cult members, they have to hear things 3 times in order for it to like register, I guess. It triggers them. Because her reading and showing facts and documentation is just too much to ask. So, yeah. Candace has lied so far about having 2 degrees. Candace, you better show me some phones, and I mean it. I know, right? The itchy scratchies. Candace, you better show me some damn phones. And it better be phones from Israel. I better see serial numbers. I need to see manufacturer numbers. I need to see the actual phone manufacturer name. It better trace back. If I do some research on these phones, it better lead me straight back to Israel. And I mean it. And I do my research. Candace, I told you. You're not getting off on this. You're just not. This is crazy. I better see some evidence, Candace.
For whatever reason, 12 Israeli cell phones on the ground at Utah Valley University the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. This has completely spooked the people that are very high up in government. Now, to be clear, I don't mean that there were 12 VPNs that were switched and routed through Israel on that day. I mean that there were 12 personal cell phone accounts that were opened in Israel. Okay. Like you go into Verizon in Tennessee or in Connecticut and you open your phone. I am saying that they opened their phones in Israel, those accounts in Israel.
They opened the accounts or the phone boxes. You got to be specific here. See, oh God, you're so bad at this journalism. You have to say what happened. Here's what they had on the day and on time. You start with, okay, on or about November 4th, 2024, 12 Israeli men walked into the Verizon store at 6:03 p.m. and they purchased 12 phones. Each of these phones have a different phone number. Here's the list. And then you start to show your evidence. That's how this goes, Candace. Good grief. You learn nothing in school.
And they were on the ground on September 10th at Utah Valley University when Charlie was shot. Now, the NSA knows this. Kash Patel knows this. People in the current administration know this. And they are desperate for some reason to stop that information from being released to the public.
Wait a minute. You're not going to show us any evidence? You can't make this stuff up. Y'all see why I can't take us seriously? Candace, you have no power in any of this. No one takes you seriously. You're not even showing evidence of this. Where are the photos of the phones? What you say you've seen 12 phones. Where's the evidence? At least show the photos. Girl, stop. Y'all, she's sitting here talking about irrefutable evidence that she verified herself and still not show any documentation.
In Israel, those accounts in Israel. And they were on the ground on September 10th at Utah Valley University when Charlie was shot. Now, the NSA knows this. Kash Patel knows this. People in the current administration know this. And they are desperate for some reason to stop that information from being released to the public. Why? Because they're the most transparent.
Because we don't believe it. Where are the phones, Candace? For goodness sake, show the pictures of the phones. She said the phones were on the ground. Were on the actual phones. What type of phones are we talking about here? Are we talking about like Samsung phones? Are we talking about iPhones? What type of phones are we speaking of here? Are they, minute phones or something? Flip phones? Verizon? What's the phone carrier? Is it a Nokia phone? Nokia used to be a thing. What type of phones are we talking about here? Like, she didn't even show the evidence of the actual phones. What do you mean you verified this stuff? You should be showing me documentation, photos or video, information about the phones, the serial numbers, something. They were on the ground, so all 12 phones were dropped on them. You mean the actual phone devices were on the ground? Or the people who had the phones? What are you talking about? She's not even using terminology that makes sense. The 12 phones were on the ground. What?
Connecticut, and you open your phone. I am saying that they opened their phones in Israel, those accounts in Israel. And they were on the ground on September 10th at
The
Utah
accounts were on
Valley.
the ground. The account holders were on the ground, or the devices were on the ground. Y'all, she doesn't give evidence. So I have to ask Candace these questions along the way because she tells a story like a 6-year-old child. Like that does not have much of an imagination. I've heard 6-year-olds give more detailed stories than this. Candace, you're not helping. No one understands what that means. Are you referring to the people who own the accounts? Then you should be showing photos of 12 individuals. What evidence do you have?
University when Charlie was shot. Now, the NSA knows this. Kash Patel knows this. People in the current administration know this, and they are desperate for some reason to stop that information from being released to the public. Why? Because they're the most transparent administration ever? Is that why? Is this like Jeffrey Epstein transparency that we're getting? Because that's what it feels like. It always seems that on the topic of this one nation that's only the size of New Jersey and has done nothing wrong ever and was truly the greatest friend to Charlie right up until the very end, never put any pressure on him, suddenly everybody abandons their values. True friends of Charlie Kirk, right? Standing on that stage, giving him a speech, hiding this. Now, what would be the reason that they wanted to keep that information under wraps? And why does it have people at the very top spooked? If there's nothing to hide, then there's nothing to hide.
I'm not spooked at all. There's nothing scary about any of this. I have no idea. Candace, you're not showing photos of 12 people who own these accounts. You're not showing photos of the actual phone devices. You haven't shown a video clip of those phones on the ground itself. You haven't given us any information about the actual phones. You haven't even given us the last 4 digits of the phone numbers. You're not giving us any information. You just want us to believe this nonsense that's coming out of your mouth. That's not how journalism works, girl. And you would know that if you had finished school. You might want to consider going back to school. Go back to school, Candace.
Okay? If there's nothing to hide, then there's nothing to hide. Now,
you're not
what's
showing
the devil's
us
advocate, and to be clear, we are now advocating for the devil when we do this.
The devil is a liar. You and the devil are a liar. Not saying we got to pray. Lord, protect us and cover us as we listen to this demon talk about things that she knows nothing about, while she produces zero evidence to try to verify the nothingness that she speaks about, that she says she does know about. Keep us all covered in the blood of Jesus and keep us safe. Got our eyes and ears in Jesus' name. Let everybody say amen in the chat. Put amen, 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 amen in the chat. Flood the chat with amen. Hit the like button, because we all got to be united and agreed on one accord in that prayer. Because now she really about to become the demon that we all know she is. You can't make this up. Amen in the chat. We got to be united and agree in that prayer. We won't go out to cover us as we finish listening to this demon talk. Oh, Lord have mercy. Bless her heart. Candace, we're still waiting on the photos and proof of your 2 degrees.
Maybe the cell phones belonged to some exchange students. It's possible. Maybe 12 Israelis were touring UVU on that day because, I don't know, Utah Valley University is a place where they maybe wanted to attend in the future. Maybe 12 American students had Israeli-based cell phones because they had just come back from a summer abroad program and they wanted to keep their Israeli cell phones running when they got back home to Utah. I don't know, but I'd like to know. In fact, we need to know the answer to this question. Why are they hiding this information? And why and who did those 12 Israeli cell phones belong to? Okay. I don't like secrets. I don't like secrets, especially when they pertain to the public execution of my friend Charlie Kirk. We'll take a break and we'll come right back.
What are you talking about?
All right, you guys, jumping in here to tell you about Preborn, rather to remind you about glass bamboo.
Girl.
It's full of it. He just fired the shot. What does this feel like to you?
Ugh.
And we are getting the runaround from the Trump administration, the runaround from his friends, the people that wanted to just stop asking questions and move on. What does this feel like to you? What does this feel like to you? Sometimes I wish I...
Candace, why do you don't have your caption on? Or the timestamps here? This is after she was done recording. Look, I can't turn on the subtitles. Girl, you slipping. This is real sloppy of you. Who? No information about the 12 phones, people. So there's nothing to be scared of because she knows nothing. And she wants to soundbite just so she can see if they respond to it. To which the FBI needs to ignore Candace Owens. Don't respond to her. You owe her nothing because she gave us no evidence or detailed information to give us a heads up on anything. Do you understand? If you respond, you're giving her information. She doesn't have it. If she did, she would post it up. Candace, please, I beg of you, please piss off the FBI and catch an obstruction charge. Why don't you just be a rebel and go all the way there? We're waiting for it.
I was born yesterday, right? It would be so easy to just accept it. Like, oh yeah, I totally, there just was a lone shooter who, you know, had never really been hunted, but he got really lucky and he just fired the shot and he'd never been to the campus, but he somehow knew how to scale all the buildings, running around like Spider-Man. I wish I was born yesterday so I could just accept that. I do. Unfortunately, I wasn't born yesterday. I was actually born 36 years ago. And everyone is full of it. I am looking at a situation where Charlie was betrayed and is actively being betrayed every day by the very people that he helped to elect, the people that are in office. They are betraying him by trying to feed us this nonsense, okay? They are feeding us, they're selling us crap and trying to tell us it's food, right? Like this is nourishing or something. I just won't tolerate it, okay? And it is, I think, one of the craziest things happening right now that these people are now telling us to shift gears and that it's our duty, right? It's our duty to make sure more of them get elected. Now, there are a lot of people running around right now. There are races, important races, they tell us going on in the country, consequential races are happening, and people online are being somewhat accusatory, upset that Republicans are infighting, if that's what you're calling this. I'm not fighting with you, okay? I'm going to see this thing all the way through. And that we're instead focused on using our platforms to fight one another rather than to encourage people to go vote so that Republicans can stay in power across various cities. You know, as just one example, of course, people really cannot stop speaking about the Mamdani versus the Cuomo.
So obviously she's no longer a Republican. So Candace won't be voting for Republicans, I guess. Who is she going to vote for? She's just not going to vote at all. Then she'll be the hypocrite that ran around here telling people how important it is to vote. Now not voting because she doesn't like anybody. I told you all, she's going to isolate herself. Candace, you might as well just go ahead and go full-blown Jim Jones. Take your whole code base. Y'all move to South America. Go start Candyland. And don't come back. And to the candy asses, when she tells you all to drink that mysterious red Kool-Aid, just remember that it was sweet going down. That's it. Because I don't know what else to tell you. Just don't take any kids out there. Because they're innocent. They ain't got nothing to do with this. Leave the children here. But all these grown adults that want to believe everything she say, yeah, y'all go out there and move to South America with Candace Owens. Start up Candyland. While she becomes the black female version of Jim Jones. Just leave all the children here. We got the kids. Don't worry about the kids. They don't deserve that. They can't help who their parents are. George probably will go back to the UK. He'll take the kids with him. Because this woman is pretty much a lost demon soul at this point. And I just, you know, she refuses to read or present evidence. We're just here for the entertainment of it all.
Mayoral race in New York. Now, Cuomo's already one of the most corrupt families in New York. And now they're like, no, switch gears because Mamdani is going to be worse. And it's your job as a good little Republican, okay, to go out there and to make sure that Mamdani doesn't win. And to those very many people, I would like to say, no, I'm good, actually. I'm just not interested. I'm interested in nothing until you start telling the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk. Until you acknowledge that a 30-06 did not go through his neck, did not get stopped, rather, by his neck. Until you acknowledge that that story that you tried to tell us is complete BS, something that could take down a moose, somehow did not take down Charlie Kirk. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? I'm not interested in your races around the country. I'm not voting until this is resolved, okay? This is toxic. You are toxic.
Oh, no.
And it is unbelievably abusive to suggest that I have to now reinvest and work for the exact same party that told me that if I voted for them and got the word out for them, and I did do all of those things, that things would be different. Corruption.
Perhaps you should start thinking for yourself and do what you want to do and not what they tell you to do. Candace, no one is forcing you to vote for any party. You choose to do that. It's a choice. See me? I don't go left or right. I go exactly the way I need to go. What's best for people in general, for Americans, for humanity. to combat con artists and opportunists and narcissists, evil people like yourself. That's what I do. You don't have any power in the investigation. You don't even have any power over your own decisions. And you want people to listen to you. That's the problem. You can't even control your own vote without you throwing a tantrum thinking that they want you to vote for someone. As opposed to you just saying, I'm going to vote for who I want to vote for based on the policies that they have and the platform they're offering and what aligns with my views. It's that simple. No one's forcing you to vote for one person over another. But you don't get to dictate and control this investigation with Charlie Kirk. And his wife will ensure that you stay at bay like the little demon that you are, because you have no power in that. We can't even get photos of these 12 phones you're talking about, a proof that you got 2 degrees. No, ma'am. You can bark all you want. No one will care.
It's going to stop. We're going to be the most transparent thing administration you've ever seen, except on those Epstein files. Yeah, I know he was like abusing children, but what Epstein files were we even talking about? No, thank you. No, nope. Goodbye. Not doing it anymore. You're left versus right. Don't care anymore. There is power and there is the rest of us. There is power and there is the rest of us. And you are not going to convince me that any of this stuff is consequential after I just watched Charlie Kirk catch a bullet in his throat and watching all of you lie about it. Okay. There's actually this vintage clip from TRL. Remember Total Request Live with Carson Daly that perfectly embodies me and how I am feeling in this moment. So let's watch that vintage clip together.
Hi, my name is Melinda and I live in Florida. Being a young black female and also a teen mother, what do you guys do to give back to the community? Also directed mostly towards ODB. I know Praz and the Fugees do things for the community, but what is going to be your thing for the community?
Nothing. Don't get me wrong now. Don't get me wrong. Send you love.
To the Republicans, I send you love. Okay, don't get me wrong. I send you love. But what I will be doing for the broader community until you start telling the truth is nothing. Nothing. So don't at me. I just don't care at all. Not even a little bit. Anyway, 2 of the 3 people that I still like that are within the realm of politics got together. Tucker Carlson joined Dave Smith. I kind of want to qualify Tucker Carlson. I feel like I want to say the stupendous Tucker Carlson joined Dave Smith on his show to respond to all of this Zionist backlash that he was receiving for having a conversation with Nick Fuentes. And foremost, Tucker explains why he had the conversation with Nick Fuentes. Take a listen.
I didn't make Nick Fuentes, hardly. I just want to know what this is about. And I wanted to make the point that I often make and now seems even more important than it ever has, which is that virtue and sin are not transmitted genetically. Right. There is no such thing as blood guilt. Therefore, collective punishment is always immoral. God created each person individually. He did not create communities at once. He created people. I think this is the theology one, isn't it? All of us will die and in the end face God alone. So it's about the person. And people can be changed by God, by the way. And the New Testament is that story of people who were, in the case of the whole hero of the New Testament, the human hero was a guy called Paul, who was murdering Christians as a Pharisee, and then becomes the greatest proselytizer in the history of Christianity and my personal hero. So don't tell me that people can't be changed because of their blood. Now, that is the basis. That position is the basis of Western civilization. We often talk about Western civilization and we're all defending Israel's defending Western civilization. Israel does not have a Western position on this question. The Israeli position, not of all Israelis, by the way, and certainly not of all Jews, but I'm saying of the Israeli government and of a couple of its ministers, which they say this out loud all the time, is that everybody who's related to a terrorist shares in his guilt. That's collective punishment. It is blood guilt, and it's antithetical to Christianity and to the West. And so for me, and by the way, Israel's not the only country that does this. Most countries do this. Literally, most countries do this. All of Asia, India. This is like an intuitive response that people have.
Okay, so that I actually introduced that wrong. That's Tucker just delivering the broader theological point, which is important, that people have the capacity to change. And actually, we're kind of in this weird psychosis as a society. And I would say that this is kind of one of the things they're trying to deliver to us, is that some people are just deplorable. Like everything about them is just so deplorable. We have to throw them away. And that's what creates these sort of movements where people are just tired of it. They're just tired of this. This is not the way that Christians think, actually. We very much don't live in a Christian society because we live in a Christian Zionist society. And Christian Zionism is a paradox, okay? And there's no such thing as Christian.
Did you say we don't live in a Christian society? Is that what I just heard? What? As for me and my house, we serve the name of Jesus, girl. Who you talking about? What's she talking about? Let me tell y'all something. I'm not perfect by any means. But who you serve, the God that I serve. Yeah. We call him Jesus Christ. What is she talking about? Why are you basing your Christianity and your relationship with God based on society? It's all sometimes the best church you have is in your household. What you mean?
Deplorable. We have to throw them away. And that's what creates these sort of movements where people are just tired of it. They're just tired of this. This is not the way that Christians think, actually. We very much don't live in a Christian society because we live in a Christian Zionist society.
You can't make this up. You don't get to sit here and say that every person who's a Christian is a Christian Zionist. So in her world, because, and I've asked you all this before, and we watched the video, I think was it yesterday, the day before, where I said, does it sound like she's saying that the only way you can be Christian if you're Catholic? And I think we talked about that a couple days ago. Because I really think she honestly believes that. She believes that you cannot be Christian unless you're Catholic. If you support Israel, you're not Christian at all. That's how she thinks. What? You think I'm gonna let somebody who does not pay my bills dictate the God that I serve and worship in my house? Candace, you have lost your mind. It's not about what society does. It should be about what you do as an individual. When you stand before God on Judgment Day, just as an FYI to all of you all, you will stand alone before God on Judgment Day. You will have to give an account for everything you've said and done. What lied in your heart, your intent, what's in your soul. You're not going to be able to stand before God and say, well, you know, society made me go out and say all these things and do all these things because, you know, society really isn't Christian. And God is going to be like, what does any of that mean? I take it you've been listening to Candace Owens. God is not going to care about any of that. So what is she talking about? I mean, you got people out here who are Christians, Candace, whether you like it or not, that supports Israel, that supports the U.S., that supports humanity. They support Christians in Nigeria. They support Christians everywhere. And you can't control that. You have no power in that situation. That's something she's going to have to learn the hard way, I guess. Candace, you have no power. None.
And Christian Zionism is it's a paradox, okay? There's no such thing as Christian Zionism because Zionism is all about identity, right? It's all about identity. Because I am a Jew, I therefore have a right to this land. Because they are Jews and I am a Christian, I recognize that I'm going to get into heaven if I just worship how Bibi Netanyahu, even when he kills tens of thousands of kids. That is a political ideology. It is not a religion, and it is dangerous, and it is wrong, and it is backwards, and it is, of course, antithetical to the Bible. Now, Tucker then explains specifically why he chose to have a conversation with Nick Fuentes. Take a listen.
You should be forgiving always. Things are being said right now that almost seem like they can't be forgiven. They're exhortations to violence. Clearly they are, et cetera, et cetera. Slander of a kind that's so severe. Like, how do you get past that? I think we should force ourselves. I interviewed Nick Fuentes to attack my wife and my son and my dad. Can't attack my dad. And I interviewed him anyway. I choked it back and I thought to myself, I want to hear this, and I'm just going to I try to make myself do that. So if tomorrow John Podhoretz is like, or whomever I'm mad at, right? People I used to know are calling me a Nazi, is like, you know what? I don't think he's actually a Nazi. Like, let's have a real conversation. Let's do the best for America. They should all be accepted. I don't think we should have permanent enemies who are American citizens. I don't, because I think the whole idea of it is we're united by citizenship, our common Americanness. Everybody's welcome, even if we hated each other 20 minutes ago. And Glenn Greenwald, I hated Glenn Greenwald. Now I think he's one of my favorite people in the world, not just politically, but personally. Like, forgiveness is essential. People change. Allow for that. Don't draw permanent lines in the sand where it's like, I hate you and I will hate your son too. Like, that's non-Western thinking. We don't allow that.
I want you to really consider, you listen to Tucker's perspectives and what's guiding his perspectives.
It's funny that he said that, and Candace does the complete opposite at 2 seconds later. Because if that be the case, then why is she hating all of Israel because of the decisions of one person? In her mind, if she believes that the Israeli prime minister is making bad decisions, then why are you cursing the entire land of Israel and the children and their children and their children because of one man? You see, Candace, anything you can do, I can do 1,000 times better because I choose to use my brain. This is why you can't be hypocritical. You're loud and wrong. You can't sit here and say you agree with him on that and then turn around and then when it comes to Israel or Turning Point USA, you're just attacking everyone. Do you not know, Candace, that you don't have the authority to curse the land of Israel or the land of anything and generations of children? And yet, that came out of your mouth. That is witchcraft. The Bible speaks of that. That's not something you have the power to do. If God wants to teach us a lesson, he'll do it. But he has not imbued you with the power to do that. She literally thinks that Christianity is limited to Catholicism. I don't understand, like, what is her goal at this point? What is she? She might as well just say, hey, I'm no longer a Christian. I'm just an atheist. Like, whatever. I pray she repents too, because hell is hot. The Bible speaks of it being a place where you don't want to go. It's torment day and night. And you're not going to be able to be the one to torment people, Candace. You're going to be tormented. You understand? You'll be the one tormented. This is crazy. She is saying very dangerous things, spiritually speaking. She's blaming whole governments, the military, implicating other countries and governments in one civilian murder. But she won't denounce the death threats that others have received because Nicholas Ray listened to Candace Owens. And she will not denounce his behavior. So she thinks those people should die. Or at least she has no problem with them getting death threats. You can't make this up.
And then go backwards and listen to like Mark Levin and these people that get on their platforms and call him irredeemable. And you realize there's a different spirit moving within these groups, right? And he is what Christianity is, right? It's about forgiveness. It's about when you're angry, not assuming that there's some like blood oath that you need to honor, but saying, you know what, Nick Fuentes says something crappy things about me and I'm going to speak to him. I did the same thing. I was like the bigger person, hosted him. And he was, by the way, still a jerk. But this idea that he shouldn't have a platform, he shouldn't be allowed to speak, he shouldn't be allowed to think, he shouldn't be allowed to breathe. What is that from? What is your faith? You're definitely not going to convince me that that's the first 5 books of the Bible. Okay. I know what your faith is. It's Zionism. Okay. You guys behave like.
Candace can't quote one scripture from the Bible in its entirety. First of all, I don't listen to Nick Fuentes like that just because there's a lot of people I just don't listen to like that. But I have played some of his videos of him roasting Candace Owens. And I mean, roasting her to a crisp. By the time he was done with his video, Candace Owens was a crispy chicken wing. So crispy, you couldn't eat it. I mean, he scorched her. And he spared her nothing. And whether he does it for entertainment or not, I was highly entertained. Mission accomplished. But he said what needed to be said, too. And no one's trying to take his platform away. Well, not when it comes to her. I don't listen to anything else he has to say, so I don't know what else he said. But when it comes to her, I encourage him to continue on. I hope he continues to speak the truth about Candace Owens. Nick Fuentes, please continue to tell the truth about Candace Owens. Because you just heard her say, no one should be trying to take away your platform. So, there you go.
Gangsters. You behave like you are only loyal to one another and you'll come beat up any person figuratively. You'll take care of any person that gets in your way. And the world can see that now. So what's your next move? To just keep doing
Yeah,
this,
her
to just keep
theology is
behaving like this,
horribly wrong.
and
Hey,
just know
Dad.
that every act that you make, every show, everything that you make go viral with you speaking in the way that you speak, and then people get to hear Tucker, he gets bigger and you get smaller. Okay. He gets bigger. Our ideas get bigger. Your ideas get smaller because people can perceive the nastiness that's guiding it and they want nothing to do with it. Okay. Now, I'm going to take a brief break because I know you guys have a lot of comments, and we also have book club tonight. And we're going to get deeper, by the way, into that sort of guiding theology when we get back into the Sigmund Freud book, because it really, really connects dots for you. Right? What that guiding philosophy comes from is actually a psychology. It is a psychology, and he's the father of it, as they call him, the father of modern psychology. And so really stepping back into time and understanding what was happening at the turn of the 19th century across Europe, why so many speech laws have been passed in Europe, kind of Christians in the way that we're doing right now, waking up and going, what is the guiding philosophy of these people that seem like they hate us? Like they're trying to abuse, like what have we done wrong to be treated like this? This book is really an aha moment, and I'm excited for the book club. I'm excited, and I understand why Zionists infiltrated it, but we're not going to stop. But first, let's get to a couple of sponsors, then I'm going to answer some of your comments. All right, you guys, jumping in at that. American Finance, a couple of them yesterday, but this one, regarding Kash Patel's tweets, a couple of them yesterday. 800-795-1210 or visit this user wrote, Cheryl writes, after hearing Kash Patel's tweet, I'm 90% sure he's the one that wrote Tyler's message to his furry lover. Absolutely, you are correct. It's now a fact. It's now a fact. Just kidding, but I love that comment. All right, comments from today's episode. Laughing Cats Music World writes, I keep thinking about George Zinn. I know he was a habitual Salt Lake City event disruptor, but what are the chances his reflex is to take the blame voluntarily? I guess it's possible, but wow, crazy split decision to make, right? Not even a hesitation. I told you guys that we had a source leak to us. He went to the hospital. He went to Utah Valley.
What's the source? What's the source? You're about to speak on someone getting medical treatment again, Candace. What is your source? Because your source, albeit told you about someone getting medical treatment, should have definitely told you, please do not go out on your platform and talk about this medical treatment, because you could be releasing medical information that it would include treatment received about someone without their permission. It's like she refuses to learn what CMIA laws are all about. And we pulled it up here. You guys can read about it. I don't have to make that stuff up. I just follow it because I believe in the right to privacy of others. This is so reckless. You're about to go there again, Candace. You know, facts don't care about how you feel. So why would you even repeat something you're saying some source gave to you? When you can't name the source, you're not going to throw their name out there. So why would you put someone's medical treatment out there? You can't make this up.
Hospital after this event to treat some of his like mild injuries from being dragged. And he told people that he was told to do it and he was paid to do it. But he didn't know where the payment was coming from. So yeah, this entire thing was just an operation. Like I said, Brandon Hansen writes, been a lifelong Israel supporter. Recently, I've come to not like Bibi, but I still love the land where the Lord was born. A Zionist who dislikes Netanyahu. Curious how you feel about that. Love from Maine. It at least makes me happy to hear you acknowledge that there's a demon. It's the strangest thing to me when these people are treating Bibi Netanyahu like he is their Christ. And that is what makes it a disgusting heresy, right? But it's to misinterpret the Bible so much that you're basically platforming and honoring what Bibi Netanyahu does, avoiding the topic, not acknowledging that what he's doing to the Palestinians is wrong. Having love for Jerusalem, that makes sense. Having love to be able to walk in Jerusalem and to see the relics, that all makes sense to me. And I think I'm just more disgusted by people who turn a blind eye to everything that's happened to the Palestinians. It just makes me sick. And to see him on camera acting like such a gangster and people pretending that he's holy.
So why? If that be the case, pause there. If that be the case, then why are you implicating him in the murder of Charlie Kirk, someone who was pro-Israel, that loved Israel? Why are you implicating this man in that murder with no evidence? We don't care about your conspiracy theories. Your thoughts on that is irrelevant. You need evidence to make those types of bold accusations. Candace said that congressmen were being treasonous yesterday. And I got a comment about that, and I'm going to speak on that after this. But the fact that she says things that are so reckless and so defamatory, and then gets upset when someone files a defamation lawsuit, it baffles me. And then, of course, I laugh at it because she doesn't understand the definition of the word defamation.
Even a shred of documented proof that these people are the original people from the Holy Land is crazy. There's way more proof to the contrary, which they've stopped printing. Even their own textbooks, which they've stopped printing, that point to the fact that they came from Turkey, the Turkic Ashkenaz tribe that came down, began speaking Yiddish, and then needed a place to go after World War II. It's crazy to me. The whole thing's crazy. Again, I would debate anybody on that topic. Definitely feeling especially fired up about it. Smoky Mountain Katie writes, always trust your gut. Our brain takes in far more information than we are aware of. I love your show and all that you do. Thank you so much. Beck Build writes, so glad Charlie had you. On another topic, dinosaurs. Hundreds of Bible-believing PhD scientists have evidence that dinosaurs are real, killed during the global flood of Genesis. The Institute for Creation Research answers in Genesis and creation. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. Nope. Sorry. And this is going to get, I bet you, the people that are going through my book club, by the end of this, you're going to see that there was a conscious movement, as I said, at the turn of the century, same time they started going, oh, we found dinosaur bone. And then you get into like the research of you come from an Australopithecus, and they describe this as like, oh, suddenly science was peaking. And actually what was happening is they wanted to make people invest in scientism. That's a C.S. Lewis perspective. He writes about that in one of his books, where they wanted to turn science into God. And as long as they say there's an expert, there's research, experts say that people would fall into line. And that's what we see happening. So I can't do a deep dive on the dinosaur thing right now, but the book club, we're going to go there eventually. And
Is she saying dinosaurs are not real? Does she truly believe that dinosaurs did not exist on Earth, on this planet that is millions of years old? Because science. See, here's your problem, Candace. You dropped out of college. We have no idea how well you did in high school. And you don't understand human anatomy and biology. I definitely don't expect you to understand geology or, the history of the earth. I don't expect you to understand that. Basic science principles probably go over your head. But if you actually think that at some point, millions of years ago, large animals did not walk this earth when there's proof of it in the ground, I don't know what else to tell you. I just don't. I mean, I guess she doesn't believe in evolution. It's science. It's not to say that God didn't create these things, but it's just saying that there are some animals that have evolved. What is her? It's like her beliefs are all over the place, and she's vomiting this nonsense out and purporting it to be facts. That's the problem. And she doesn't have science to prove it.
I don't know. I see a bigger picture, a broader picture now. Removing the Bibles from classrooms, teaching people that they're Homo sapiens and they started walking straight, but also the monkeys are still here. It was very methodical, and yeah, broader conversation to have. I can't wait for that clip to go viral, by the way. Like, I care. Like, I also don't believe the moon landings happened, so you can cut that clip because they didn't happen. That's crazy. More scientism. Anyways, Christine writes, loyalty is rare. Christ is king. Indeed, he is. Beth Mitchum writes, so we give Israel billions. People who support Israel give AIPAC money to give our government to give to our government to vote the way Israel wants. So my tax money pays for Israeli ideas. We pay Congress twice. Can you say money laundering? Yeah, that's what it feels like for sure. We give our tax dollars, they go overseas, and then
She's a moon landing denier. Candace, why don't you just take your behind to the moon and see what happened up there? I'm sure Elon Musk will give you a ride. I mean, you do know people have gone to the moon. Go to the moon, Candace. Why don't you get on a spaceship? We'll be fine without you for 4 or 5 good years here on Earth. You go now. After this yeast infection, you think you get over it. And then you come back. You be 40 years old. We'll be fine. She's a flat earther. Oh my God. Yeah, you really can go to space, Candace, and go find out for yourself. You can go to the moon and see what happened there. Did anyone landed on it? Perhaps if you believe that no one has landed on it, then you'll be the first. And then you can look out in space and take pictures of the Earth. Take pictures of the planet, since you don't believe anything that's being captured on satellite, that we have out in space, or the fact that we have people out in space and they're taking photos and sending back feed and video footage. So you want to deny all of that. Then why don't you go to space yourself, Candace? And then you can go see what the Earth looks like for yourself from space. Tell Elon Musk to keep you up there for at least 4 years. That way, when you come back, you'll be 40. You'll be ready to go into, some sort of menopausal state. Maybe those yeast infections will calm down for you. And perhaps you'll be a lot calm. Because this is crazy. She does not believe that anyone landed on the moon, and she believed that the earth is flat. You gotta be kidding me.
Yell at us for paying attention to what they're doing overseas and then call us anti-Semitic. This is like the worst deal ever. I'd like that deal to be undone. And it certainly isn't going to be undone in this administration, that's for sure. Jennifer K. writes, just asked Grok if Israel and Egypt coordinate on intelligence ops. It says yes, calling their cooperation unprecedented. Since the 1979 peace treaty, intel chiefs have met often, share real-time data. Honestly, few countries make more sense working together. Yeah. Country A that gets most of our money.
She only reads comments that are like just dumb. They all just kind of feed into her narcissistic ego, and they just reassure her of her nonsense. No one, except the question yesterday about her clarifying her education. She's only picking questions that just kind of, supports her nonsense. Candace, where's the evidence to show that you got 2 degrees? Because we're all waiting for that. We want to know where you get those 2 degrees from. The commenter yesterday asked you to clarify that you have degrees. Where's the evidence or the proof to show that you obtained 2 degrees? From what schools? What year did you graduate? What were the majors? That's the information you share. You don't just say, I got 2 degrees. What degrees? She doesn't read questions that would cause her to think or force her to have to prove something. They all just kiss her ass.
Is Israel, B is Egypt, and there is a reason for that. It's so it doesn't look like it's all going to Israel. That's my perspective. Darth Phantom writes, citizens have, and I would say since the 1967 war, do you think that they would let Israel control the Sinai Peninsula? Anyways, more on that later. Darth Phantom writes, citizens have always paid taxes to finally be able to retire. And the thanks that we get for this is they raise the age on us to retire and we all obey like idiots. Am I the only one angered about this? Yeah, it's all coming apart. We're realizing it's all one big scam. It's all usury, and it is a sin. And everything that's happening in our country, our culture, the corrosion. I think it's because America has married to Zionism. Like I truly do believe that, and I think a lot of people are waking up to that. We were a better country when we were a Christian nation. We are no longer a Christian nation. We are an occupied nation with an ideology that has produced filth in our culture. Miranda writes, hi, Candace, I'm 23, and I should be clear, a political ideology dressed up as a religion and a faith. Miranda writes, Candace, I'm 23 and newly married. We just found out that I'm pregnant. Congratulations. I'm nervous, but I know children are God's blessing. Do you have any advice for me as a young mother? Is it okay to be nervous? My advice would be not to take advice. It is going to be the most natural job that you have. You are going to just know what to do when you see the baby, and it will make you a better person because you will be so tapped into God's creation. You will realize that there is something more. It is one of the sins in the culture that kind of trained us to have children later, is that we don't tap into our divine purpose, and children immediately have you tap into your divine purpose. You feel more wholesome, more confident. I became a more confident person when I had children because I suddenly realized what.
Oh no, more narcissistic. George Farmer, can you please get your wife? We're all waiting, buddy. You're gonna have to grow a spine and a sack. Come get your wife, man. You should not be scared of her. It's okay. You might not know which personality you're dealing with, but come and get your wife because she is heading down towards a very dark path. She's already talking about being the devil's advocate in now, the second video back to back? I don't know how many times we can deal with this demon. Come get your wife, George Farmer. You're going to have to put the cigar down, put that little cognac or whatever you sipping on, put that stuff down and come get your wife. Send her out of space so she can see what the planet look like. This ain't it. This is not it.
What matters and what doesn't matter. And that's why I fight like hell for truth, because it matters.
Yeah, because she fight like hell and for hell. That's what she fights for. Candace, you fighting like hell and for hell now. I mean, you're not fighting for anything that's good and holy. You're just fighting for hell. Oh my goodness. Candace, hell is hot. I just want to remind you of that.
Is that I have children, and my silence is essentially cowardice. That would guarantee that their future would be compromised, could be more compromised than our lives are right now.
They're going to see these videos.
Lastly, Real Light Worker writes, have you looked into events going on at UVU that day? A college student posted an FB reel of her experience. She ran into a building where the room was filled with uniformed people and a bunch of different flags. Who were they? That's the Hall of Flags that's behind Charlie's head. And I do find something suspicious was going on there. I've never gotten clarity, but that's where notoriously the person who filmed the footage, the only footage that we have of the person running across, who they say is the shooter, running across the Losey Center. So yeah, look, we are investigating every day with more information. Tomorrow we will have more explosive information and revelations about the Egyptian plane, which so interesting. Speaking of the unique relationship between Egypt and Israel, TikTok is hitting us for videos talking about the Egyptian planes. That's very strange. Israel's moderators.
No, it's not. It's only because you're bringing it up. There's nothing strange about that. You make everything strange, Candace. You don't believe that people landed on the moon, and yet you want to find it strange that Egypt and Israel could have connections. How do you? You can't. It's absurd. You're fighting for hell like hell, but yet you want people to take you serious when you say you're a Christian. You've cursed the land of Israel and the children and generations to come, and yet you don't believe that children should be paying for the sins of their fathers. You can't make this stuff up.
In the IEF, we know, and Bibi wants TikTok secured for Israel's future. Why do they care about Egyptian planes that were there? Kind of coming together. There's a picture here that's coming together. Anyways, you guys, we have to jump off because we do have book club tonight. So I will see you guys in the Zionist infiltration on our book club. We finally did it, guys. We went viral, and they're stealing clips from behind the paywall. If you guys would like to support our work, you can go to CandaceOwens.com. You can go to makehimasandwich.com to buy the book. You will really enjoy this book. It's really important.
That whole book is about her making somebody a sandwich. What is it? Her attacking women who don't? I mean, how does this go? Candace, you didn't finish school. Why don't you tell the truth? How about you write a book about how you have somehow lied to everyone about not having a degree, and then turn around and flat out bold-faced lie about having 2 degrees to which you cannot verify. I would love to see the book on how you've managed to do that all these years. You're 36 years old. For the last, 18, I give you 14 years, 15 years. For the last 15 good years, you've been lying to people about not having a degree and saying that you have 2 degrees at the same time. You said you dropped out. Now you're saying you have 2 degrees. Do you understand how contradictory and hypocritical that is? 2 degrees from where? Where are those 12 phones? Because I was waiting on the evidence on that. And you haven't showed a photo of a phone. What type of phone are we talking about? What is an iPhone, Samsung, Nokia? Like, just name some manufacturers on. They got so many phones out here. We can do a search. Name some phones. Where are the photos of these 12 phones? Any information on these 12 phones? Because obviously you've got this information, right? Before you sat out here and made that a fact.
Important, especially for women to understand where these feminist ideals came from. And beyond that, we will see you guys tomorrow.
Oh God, a track phone, I know, right? Yeah. This girl right here. Okay, let me share this tab with the law. Utah state law to have EMT at campus events, because it's just a Google search. So there is, and I'm going to pull this up. I like Cornell. Hopefully it gives me what I'm looking for here. I know it doesn't. Hold on, let me pull up the other one. Utah.gov. Because I want you all to see, this is how you pull up laws. You want to say something is state law, Candace, you got to cite the law. You need to cite the law. So it gives me a laundry thing here. I want something like this. Okay, let me see if it's in here. I'm just trying to get to the information. Where it speaks about having emergency medical service. It doesn't say for a university. Where's she seeing that at? See, this is why you need to share the information. What I see here is based on the Google search. In Utah, campus events are subject to the same medical staffing regulations as other public events. Event organizers and venue managers must ensure that on-site medical support is provided by certified EMTs and paramedics to comply with Bureau of EMS regulations. This includes having a medical operation plan and licensed EMT coverage, especially for events with food, music, rides, or alcohol. Failure to meet these requirements can result in legal penalties and a risk of liability. And then, of course, there are some links here. You guys can click for more detailed information on the legal requirements for medical staffing at events in Utah, including campus events, referred to the Bureau of EMS guidelines and Utah Administrative Code R911-5-300. So I clicked on it and I'm trying to find it in the thing so we don't have to just like sit and search for it. But I'm not seeing it for campus events, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna just see if I can search campus events because I want to show you all the information. It's not coming up. You got to be kidding me. Yeah, it's not even showing up. And then who's to say that they may not have had their own? Like Charlie Kirk had his own security. So I can even understand having medical personnel at the event on standby. Question would be, was it legally required for the type of event that they had? Because we see, the specifics here regarding food, music, rides, or alcohol. Did they have food there? Was it like a music event? I didn't see any rides and I didn't see any alcohol. So I'm just going on what I'm reading here. Now, I'm not saying there should not have been personnel like EMT and paramedics on standby. I believe that should be at the campus, period. Or at least one attached to the campus because it's a huge school. But would it have been illegal if they weren't there in view? Or if they weren't outside at the event? Maybe they were on standby, they just weren't there at the event in person. I don't know. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm sure they know moving forward to have this stuff, to have someone out there that's paramedics. But this is, I'm going to send you all this PDF. You guys can read through it as well. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's what I'm looking at. It's like 45 pages long. So you guys can see emergency medical services. This is on this website, utah.gov here. I'm going to copy and paste that because we read here in the Lady Luck Club. We read. But the fact that she couldn't cite the state law is baffling to me. If I tell you all, oh, well, this is state law, I'm going to show you what the law is. I'm going to be able to pull it right on up and show you all what it is. I'm still waiting on you, Candace, to show proof that, you got 2 degrees. And where are these phones? What phones is she talking about? If she says she got certain information here, what phone? What are the phones? Where did you get that information from? Candace doesn't care about whether or not she can be seen as obstructing. I don't think she understands it. So I'm going to put up obstruction. So we all can be educated on this and why I keep saying this. Obstruction of justice refers to actions that interfere with the legal process, including influencing, impeding, or otherwise obstructing the administration of justice. Every time Candace gets in front of that camera and talks about that investigation and about information or demanding evidence that might not be something she can or the public can have available to them. You're influencing your 5.5 million candy asses to sit here and make demands that the FBI does not have to meet. If you are holding information and you are withholding it from the investigators, meaning, let's say she does have photos of 12 phones, and these 12 phones were on the ground that could have been picked up as evidence after the shooting, and she has actual proof of these phones, and she refuses to give it over to the FBI, you're withholding evidence that could be material to the case. You're impeding, Candace. You're not very smart. What you're doing is not cute. You're just setting yourself up to be possibly investigated. It's like she wants to be invoked in this by any means necessary. Even if she gets charged with an obstruction charge, she'll take that and then she'll report on that and weaponize it for weeks to come. She would literally take that and use that to try to make more money. She said, oh, okay, hold on, Mark. Breaking news. Where Candace said today's episode that she found that Israel had 12 cell phones uncovered. This is a bald-faced lie. I have the receipts on this. Post up, give me the receipts, bro. Listen, I want to see the receipts. Because she has nothing. I know she has nothing. Candace is an actress. Nothing is real with her podcast. She is only reading a script. Exactly. She said that. She reads the script. Laura said she surely is able to switch it off and on. Exactly. She jelly. Yep. Oh, she's very jealous of Erica Kirk. She is extraordinarily jealous. She said she saw the video of Charlie Kirk with Erica and the kids, and she started crying. Yeah, because she realized that could have been me. Candace, we know you jealous, girl. We see that jealous spirit all over you, you dumb demon. I can't believe this. I would love to get the whatever exhibits and whatever receipts you have. Email it to me. Drop my email in here. Yeah, and I vet my tips. I don't just post up stuff. I vet my tips. Now we can all see she doesn't have anything because she didn't post up anything. But I don't think she has it, because what she does is Candace will say, I have information and I know that these 12 accounts were open regarding these 12 phones, and they were on the ground on the day he was shot. Right? That's what she'll say. Then she'll wait for the FBI to deny or confirm that. And then she'll say, see, I told you all they're hiding something. If they come out and say that is not true, oh, it is true, you all. They're lying to us. I told you all. If they don't respond at all, she can't feed off of it. The FBI has to stop feeding the monkey in the zoo. She can't feed off of it. That way, if they don't say anything, she can't go back and say, well, they're either lying to us. She can only say what she said today. And how many times are you going to repeat that, Candace? But if they say something, let's say they have, there's one report of a phone. See, I told you all. I told you all I had it. I told you all they had these phones. You see, they're lying about the number. He said 1, I said 12. I know it's 12. And then she'll keep prying until, they say something otherwise. And then if they deny it and say, we don't know what that girl talking about. Oh, they're lying to us. This is why you don't trust the feds. This is why you don't trust Kash Patel, because he's lying to us all. Either way, she's going to lie. She's going to turn that into a whole new episode. Candace is grifting off of this man's death, and it's disgusting. And she really wants Erica Kirk to respond to her. Erica Kirk, I hope you know Candace Owens is not your friend. She's not your friend. She's not looking out for you. She already said you got to catch hell because you're the CEO of Turning Point USA. And you understand that criticism comes with that. She's not criticizing Turning Point. She's trying to destroy it. Candace Owens is trying to dismantle Turning Point USA. No evidence to prove anything she's saying. If you want to check out on the what? I mean, you check out on the video. I could say she doesn't have the evidence simply because she didn't post it. There's no evidence. You can't make this stuff up. Y'all, we listen here. Candace Owens, keep on obstructing if you want to. Obstruction encompasses a variety of offenses that hinder the legal system's operations, particularly actions that affect prosecutors, investigators, or court officials. It is defined as any willful act. Because, no one's forcing her to get on her show and say the dumb things she says that interferes or impedes or influences the investigation to go one way or the other. No one's forcing her to do that. It is willful and intentional. Any willful act that obstructs or hinders the administration of justice, which can include behaviors such as witness tampering, her intimidating and coercing witnesses to do interviews with her, or people that could have been potential witnesses, to prevent them from testifying, or it makes them be scared to testify because she's got 5 million candy asses that don't read a book or use their brain. They go out and commit cyber crimes. They dox and stalk people. Destruction of evidence, her altering, concealing, or destroying documents or physical evidence. So concealing, Candace, concealing evidence. You saying you got proof of 12 phones that connects these phones to the assassination itself, not the location of the assassination. The assassination itself. Somehow these phones were used in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. You're saying you got that evidence, and yet you are concealing it. Keep on. You're not that smart because you don't read. Perjury, providing false testimony under oath. That'll be easy. She could get hit with perjury in the Macron lawsuit. Once you get put under oath and they depose your ass, girl, that's it. Jury tampering, we haven't gotten there yet. But I foresee that happening with her too. I have my insiders in Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA, let this be a message to you all. Stop giving Candace information that she is weaponizing into her dumb conspiracy theories that can hurt this investigation. Whatever evidence she thinks she has, tell her to release it. Period. Whatever you think you have that would aid in this investigation, I suggest you cooperate with the feds. They don't have a problem arresting multiple people. They have no quorums with doing that, and most of you would not be fit for prison. Candace either, but I don't really care if she goes. Cooperate with the FBI. You don't have to tell Candace Owens what you're doing. You can tell her the grass is greener on the other side and let her come out of that whatever she wants. Tell her there's a hidden code. I got a hidden message for you. The grass is actually greener on the other side. And let her ponder on that for months. And leave her to it. You can just say anything at this point. I was paid to tell you this. Bananas are best when they're yellow. You can just tell her anything and she's going to be like, yes, I found it odd. One of them told me bananas are best when they're yellow. And that's a whole conspiracy theory. She's going to take whatever and run with it. She'll take whatever and run with it. Chat GPT couldn't make sense of her BS. Exactly. No one should respond to Candace. I said that. That's funny. I said the same thing. No one. She needs to be on a no information diet. Exactly. Julia said Candace will turn on Erica once the interview with Jesse Waters comes out. Oh, I'm sure she will. I'm sure she will. because Erica Kirk is not going to entertain Candace Owens' conspiracy theories. She's just not going to do it. All these things that she's talking about, Erica Kirk is not entertaining that BS. Only Erica Kirk can tell me to, shut up, along with George Foreman. George told her to shut up, but she wouldn't do it. She definitely wouldn't care if it was Erica. They weren't even friends. They still aren't. Julia said she needs to pay off Bridget McCrone. She's not going to have a choice. She's going to be begging the McCrones for a settlement. By the time they get through presenting scientific evidence, they'll be begging for a settlement. Can we please come to the middle of the table and just, reach a consensus? But the only thing that I hope if they decide to go that route, because I want the McCrones to take her to trial, put her under oath and depose her. I would love for that to happen. But let's say they entertain the thought. They have to do an NDA with a gag order. I mean, when I say gag order, I mean Candace cannot say anything else about the McCrones when she walks out of that courtroom. If they ever reach a settlement, they need to have an NDA where she cannot speak of the McCrones or what happened in the mediation ever again in life, or they will sue the crap out of her and we'll have a full hearing on it. And it needs to be written just like that in the actual agreement. Sign this NDA or we're not reaching anything with you, girl. Because we all know she's going to violate that NDA. And they need to put it in an order. So if she violates it, then they can hold her in contempt. Like it needs to be something to that extent. Because otherwise, she'll just pay them off and then what? Go back to saying the same old thing. No. We want to have an understanding. When you leave this room, you're not going to utter my name anymore or any reference to any of that nonsense you put out, because now you've seen the evidence and you want to mediate. But if you renege on this NDA, if you say anything about me and my children, my grandchildren, my husband, anything else, let me tell you something. I will have your ass held in contempt and I will sleep peacefully. That's how that need to go. Julia said Candace will turn on Erica when okay, yeah, I got that. Lady, like, are you a legal professional? I'm impressed by your knowledge. I'm not. I'm a connoisseur of legal knowledge and information. I am. My godmother, who recently retired, is a federal judge. So, I just that inspiration from her and knowing how important it is to know the law and know your rights and to be fair and impartial and neutral. That's why I don't lean one way or the other. When it comes to politics or even with, information on this. If Candace has a point about the Utah law, I just want her to cite the law. If you're going to invoke the law on something, then you should be able to cite what the law is. But, I take the time to read and research this information because that's the information people need to know. And it helps to keep things kind of clear. I can clown Candace Owens all day. But when you listen to what she says, you realize she's not saying much of anything. She's not giving any information. She's not, she's not giving receipts on nothing. She's not providing any documentation. And it kind of helps you to understand what you're dealing with. And it's like, if she understood just a little bit about journalism, she did understand laws and did respect other people's privacy and other people's rights, she wouldn't do half the stuff that she's doing. It's just a matter of integrity, and she just doesn't have it. But yeah, no, I've been asked if I've gone to law school. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, you find me dead on a law school campus, it's because somebody's playing a joke on me and Jesus. No thanks. I don't want to. I don't have a temperament to be a lawyer, but yeah, my godmother, she was a great judge. She did it for over 25 years. Very smart. She retired and told me on yesterday. Texted me, told me yesterday that she retired. And so I look to that as my inspiration. So She strikes me as someone who was never told no as a kid. Yeah, Candace is a spoiled brat. She hasn't violated the Daily Wire NDA, so I think she actually knows when she is going too far. Oh, there's an NDA with the Daily Wire. It's still valid? Get out of here. You don't say. What's going on, Goat? I'm sorry. How you doing? Candace has pretty girl syndrome and is used to being able to act shitty and people put up with it, but she isn't 25 anymore and good looks fade fast. Oh yeah. She says she's 36. So we just going on what she said. And she acts like, a spoiled brat 15-year-old. Like Candace is becoming that bully that she claims she, experienced in high school. And it's not a good look. She got 4 kids and they're being homeschooled. So that means she's got access to her kids all day. If I can't set an example as a parent, and I have 2 boys that are teenagers, and I can't set an example, for them, then I mean, what are you doing? You got 4 little ones looking up to you right now, and they got to watch these videos. That's the difference. I know how to present myself to where, when my kids are watching my videos, because they do, they understand mommy's not going to just go out the box and say and do something that's just completely embarrassing. Because I want my kids to be able to learn and watch my content and learn from it. Her kids are going to be like, Mommy, who is this man you're talking about? That's not daddy. Like, they're going to have to look at 12 weeks of content. She's just harping on Charlie Kirk. And they're not going to know who that man is. Her kids don't know who he is. So that's the thing. You got 4 kids that have no idea who this man is. And they're going to grow up and watch all your videos, Candace, of you obsessing over Charlie Kirk. And at some point, you're going to have to tell them why you did all these videos about that man, but not daddy. You know how weird that looks to a child? So, you don't even put stuff out there like that when it comes to your own husband. It makes no sense. Dead or alive, he's not your spouse. He was not your husband. And his wife is still grieving. And you're talking about she's supposed to take the heat. Bye, Felicia. So, let's see. Couple more comments in. She strikes me as someone who was never told no as a kid. Got that one in. Yeah. She's a brat. How do we know there is an NDA? I don't know. This is my first time hearing about that with the Daily Wire. Did the Daily Wire sue her? Is there a lawsuit I need to read? That's another lawsuit we can read. Did they sue her? I bet the farmer kids never even met Charlie. They probably didn't. I'm sure the last 2 didn't, because they're babies. If they did, they don't remember. But it don't seem like they, went to each other's kids' birthday parties or anything like that. Candace has no photos or videos of her, Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, and her husband together with their kids and they're, fellowshipping together. Nothing of the sort. Because she would have shown us if she did have those things. She doesn't have anything like that. And that's what's so crazy about this. Like, no recent photos within the last year of her and him, aside from her going on that tour. But that's it. All the stuff that she's showing, the average person, if you did not know that Candace Owens was married, you would automatically assume that she was married to Charlie Kirk. That is how much content she's been doing, weaponizing this man's death with no valuable evidence or proof to support anything she said. Candace, we're waiting on you to produce evidence of these 12 damn phones, girl. Evidence of these phones. Phones on the ground. Why do we not see photos of these phones? And somehow you're saying that these phones exist. Then put out the evidence. She's just making up stuff or going off of something that may have been told to her, and she doesn't realize what if people are telling you things, Candace, just to throw you off. And because you're a dingus and a dingbat, you're repeating it as if it's a fact, and it's not. It might be some more gossip just for you to have on your show, or you're making it up because you're being the devil's advocate today. This stuff she's doing is just dangerous. It's dangerous. Charlie and Candace is like Jada and Tupac. I know. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Tupac wouldn't stun Jada either. When Jada tweeted a picture of Tupac on Will's birthday, oh yeah, Jada Smith is another character. Just a clown, just disrespecting her husband all over the place. It's so disgusting, man. And poor Will Smith. I mean, he really deserves somebody decent. Like, why deal with that? Will Smith, you can get divorced. Yeah, you can have any other woman you want. So it wouldn't be hard for you to start over. Jada's done some nasty things. She really has. I can't stand her and cherish vitriol towards and I can't stand her and cherish vitriol toward the McCoys. I don't know where her that's not Mickey in the blue suit on screen. Who is it? Who was that? You said Mickey in the blue suit? I just want to understand who was it that she was putting up. Diane said Candace putting out picture postcards of two lovers. What them Christmas photos gonna look like? Ugh. It's like Charlie Kirk gonna be in the background of her family photo. Oh my God. Against Erica Kirk's will. It's so crazy. Billy, what's going on? Maybe she got confused 12 monkeys with 12 phones. Who knows? 12 chickens, 12 eggs, 12 carrots. Who knows? She talking about those 12 phones were on the ground. Is that phone supposed to be code for people? Like, seriously. 12 phones on the ground? Like, I'm very literal. So if you say 12 phones on the ground, I'm going to imagine 12 cell phones on the ground. If you're referring to people, the phone holders or the phone owners on the ground, like 12 people that had those phones on the ground. What does that mean? Like, the fact that she speaks erratic like that, she wants them to respond. She wants them to confirm or deny whatever she's saying to keep this nonsense going. But either way, that's all I got for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We've had another good 2 hour and 26 minute live. But I appreciate all of you guys and your feedback. Shout out to Skeeter for the $10 super. I appreciate it. And to Laura for the $5 super. My fantastic mod and support here in StreamYard. I appreciate it so much. We have a $20 goal. I always forget to tell you all about because I just get caught up in the information. And we met 15 out of the 20. So I appreciate all of the support. And tomorrow we will go live again. And I'm going to look for if she had a lawsuit filed against her from Daily Wire, you guys can email me that or let me know. And I will look up that information because I would love to go over that NDA if it's available. If they got an NDA on Candace Owens, I want to read it. I want to read that. Love you too. That's funny. I appreciate you all. 12 BBs on the ground. All right. All right, you guys got another live coming up. We're going to be going over the complaint that was filed against Umar Johnson from the Board of Psychology in Philadelphia. So if you guys can tune in for that, tune in for it. But that's going to be a separate live. And until the next one, you guys have a good evening. Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.